The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
The top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Tuesday night. We started the show, but
Yeah. It was a great beginning too. We had fun.
It was awesome. Yeah, we were.
Yeah, you guys missed out on a lot.
And then Jesse was like, "Hey, are we live?" And Brian's like, "Yeah, we're live." Oh, wait. Oh, no, I got to push this button.
that being said, welcome to another Tuesday night, you guys. Episode 91 of the Industry of Comics show. And we have a special episode. The surprise was already ruined, but it was so nice. You get it twice, Dennis.
Epic right here.
Hold on. Why isn't it playing?
Sound.
Yeah, no sound. Hold on here.
It's in the middle.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. They said it's your birthday. It's my birthday too, yeah. They said it's your birthday. We're gonna have a good time. They said it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to
I love
Dennis.
everything about that. First season of Moonlighting, amazing. Bruce Willis singing, and my birthday. Thank you, Brian. That was a great surprise both times.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. We were talking about Dennis's what he did on his birthday, and what he did on his birthday was get some pretty sweet pickups in his store, ladies and gentlemen. Check these out. Explain these pickups. How does this G.I. Joe OG carrying case with all the OG characters except Snake Eyes and all the file cards in almost perfect condition walk in to a store? Does it have all the freaking... Do I see all the accessories too? All the weapons for each one?
It's literally almost everything is 100% complete. So I bought a collection. One of my buddies from high school years and years ago was like, "Hey, I always see you post this stuff. Is this worth anything?" And I'm like, "Bring it in. It's all worth." And he brings it in, and I'm like, "Oh, there's this and there's this." Now he's a motorsports guy. Snowmobiles, ATVs, motorcycles. And he's like, "Jesus Christ, there are guys like you in our world who are like, that's the nut from this, and that's the this from that." And he's like, "You do that with this." And so he was like, "Hey, I went in my parents' attic and I found another box. I think it's the stuff that was missing from the last collection." And it was everything in here was pristine. The file cards were all uncut, but they're not just regular file cards. They're the red back file cards that you could only get from like mail-aways.
Years, yeah.
Yeah. So he had all of those, all of these figures. There were some parts and some incomplete vehicles.
I think there was and G.I. Joe collectors, tell me if I'm wrong. You might know this too, Dennis. I think there was a special deal that you could get at Sears where you got the collecting case plus like 8 of the first 8 figures. Yeah, I think that's what you got here.
This was it. Correct. And then it actually has a doc file card with it. So they included an 83 and the 82 swivels. But then he also had the Cobra Commander. It's a straight arm Cobra Commander that's not part of this set. And I think I got the uncut file card for that in his first collection, which I've actually kept separate because it was just such a great collection. And it was belonged to a friend of mine. So I've got to pull that and merge the two together to see what all was there.
Gorgeous, dude. Absolutely
and
beautiful.
While this walked in, then go ahead. A comic collection comes in. Now, this was actually a conversation that I had with my buddy, and he's like, how do you just look at the edge? Because there was a stack of comics, and I'm like, oh, there's this, there's that, there's this. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna post this picture, and I'm gonna see how many people can just read off every book there without seeing 95% of the covers.
I can read off every single one. Yeah, every single one. I see X-Men 94, see 298 or 299, Transformers 1, First Punisher. That right there is Second Punisher, 300, 301. That's that 128. That's 252 and Secret Wars 8.
Yeah. And he was just like, he was blown away that we can do that. And I'm like, it's just what we do. If the only reason we spread the comic books out on our wall is for the normies to overpay on them.
Oh my Lord. Oh,
and
my
then
Lord.
then with this collection came some secondary keys. And then while this is going on, we get a call from Toledo, and here our guy in Toledo's like, this is kind of out of my league for buying Pokemon. And the guy says he lives in Michigan, so I just told him to stop by you and show you. Maggie the Terminator that works for me, she looks at this thing and just goes, and he's like, yeah, I looked it up on TCG Player. It's 4,500. And she's like, it's actually about 3,400. You have some light play on a few of these and blah, blah, blah. She calced it out. And then I said, well, what should we pay? And she came within $200 of what he said. I said, okay, you know what? You drove all the way up here. Let's just go ahead and pay that. And so we bought that collection. And there's actually a second page of those.
Wow.
It was just all high-end Pokemon. About 3,600, I'd say, overall. More secondary keys. More secondary keys. Yeah.
Nice.
And
And
decent condition.
holy
and then,
cow.
This collection of 48 Funkos come in, and there's like weird rare variants in here. So I broke my rule of $1 a Funko Pop. I was in a good mood.
I'm interested. Is 48 the count of the pops, or what you were talking about before?
No,
Oh,
that was more of 36. But
36. Okay. 36. Okay. All right.
yeah, but this was 48 Funko Pops. I broke my rule, and all of these are going to be quick movers, so I went $3 a piece on them. And then there was some tchotchke stuff, some sealed board games, and
that Annabelle sells really well.
Yeah, so all of that. Plus, I hung out with a friend and we talked. That's my buddy right there. I went to high school with this guy 37 years ago, and we're still friends. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
It was a great day. And then I went out to dinner with my son, got here and got a Brian surprise of a Bruce Willis video singing to Happy Birthday to me. What else can you ask for?
Well, you did ask for a tomahawk, but I don't see a tomahawk on the plate.
Yeah, that's an Italian restaurant. They're making a tomahawk there?
So I did the calculation because all of these collections pushed me all the way up to 5 o'clock. I did not have time to go to Toledo, have my tomahawk, and be able to get back for this show. So I sacrificed my cholesterol count for everyone here on the show.
Hell
or the
yeah.
show saved your life.
One or the other.
Hell yeah.
It was a damn good day, guys. It was a damn good day.
That's awesome, bro. That's super cool.
And I
man.
played the Post-it note game, and me and the guy with the comic books came within $80 of each other. And I was like,
I thought you were talking about jumping up against the wall.
No. I always
up against the wall.
I always love playing the Post-it note game when it starts getting up there in the high ends, and just to see how far apart we are. And the fact that we were $80 apart, I was like, done. Let's do this.
Not too shabby, man. That's freaking cool. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Sounds like it was an excellent day. Another revolution around the sun is always a good day, man. Especially for you, who, how many years ago now was the heart issues?
8 years ago, 2 weeks from now.
So 8 years ago,
That's
Dennis
my rebirth day is December 17th.
That is
Mine
pretty
is
amazing.
November 13th,
Wow.
7 years ago.
Wow. Well, look at that. Both of you guys, we're happy to have you guys here.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight, you guys. We've got news and notes around the industry that we're going to get into. But one of the things that I want to talk about tonight is something that we're kind of noticing, we're hearing about here and there. People are chattering. The three retailers, brick and mortar shop retailers we have on the show, have mentioned this to me multiple times in the past couple weeks, and that is high value key fatigue. It seems like people are wanting to spend their money on quantity rather than one quality book. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're seeing books like New Mutants 98, Amazing Spider-Man 300, Hulk 181, Batman Adventures 12, all the big high value keys that, let's say are $300 plus on in a book, are starting to slow down sales wise, and even like people being interested in it, like asking about these type of books. And you're seeing more and more people buy multiple books. Instead of spending, $300 on one book, they're going to spend $300 on $5 books.
Yeah.
And buy a ton of them, which is very interesting. And I think that's a big play in the the industry right now, because it goes in cycles. Shout out to Ross Ritchie in our show from last week where we talked about cycles in the hobby. This is one of those cycles, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this and what you guys are seeing in your stores.
Yeah, I think the word is not fatigue. I think buyers are being smarter right now. They're stretching out their dollars to, it's kind of like if I said to Dennis and Emmett, out of your next 100 customers, how many customers actually are asking for keys? What's the percentage? And then now those other 100 customers, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the key collector guy was coming in, and that was a lot. Now, I don't know if how many out of my 100 customers even know what key collectors is at this point.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you a story real quick. And I think, Jesse, you're onto something, but you might not be onto everything. So I talked to this new person. I told the story like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The girl that came in and was trying to haggle a bunch of comics, and most people would be like, get out of here. But I was like, okay, she seems to know something. Let's find out if we can use this to our advantage. So we brought her in. We hired her this week. We hired her a couple weeks ago, part-time, but I've hired her in fully. And she was really excited. And I'm going to be a dick because I can't remember who it was. She's like, Jay Leaston. And I'm like, I don't know that name. Oh, he's a big artist, Jay Leaston. And I'm like, are you talking about Jay Lee? Jay Lee's awesome. Yeah. No, it's not Jay Lee. It's Jay Leaston. I met him at a convention. And she couldn't wait to get home to send me a picture of this comic that she had. And then I looked it up. He's the inker. And she's excited about it. Then she showed me other pictures from her comics. And I'm like, these are great covers. Greg Horn, Greg Land, just awesome creators from the 90s. Her entire collection is made up of, I like this cover, I'm going to buy it. They're all $5 books. She's got hundreds of $5 gorgeous covers that will never, ever shoot to the sky unless something crazy happens. She loves every one of those books. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's her collection. She loves it. Who are we, the snobs, that flash our Spider-Man 300s and our Uncanny 94s to brag about what we bought? She's never going to look at those books. But you put she loves Elektra, and you put a Greg Horn Elektra in front of her, she's buying every one of them. And I think that is the customer base that kind of the last 5 years of COVID and chasing these books. And I think that's the customer that we kind of created by accident. And those people are ecstatic over meeting an inker, getting a $5 Greg Horn cover that in some stores is $1 in the dollar box. But who is to say that's less of a customer than the guy who walks in and drops a G on your, 9.2 Spider-Man 300?
Right.
Because I think what Jesse's saying is, okay, $1,000 for one book or $5 a book for 200. Which customer do you want? I want both, but I'll
Yeah,
take either.
you want both, but again, if you're in retail, you have to use common sense. You cannot fake this. Oh my gosh, my key collector is in every single week, every Wednesday, every Saturday buying books versus the guy who comes in Wednesday, picks up his books, and then comes back on Saturday and spends another $10, $20, $30 times
Yeah.
52 weeks is much better than the key collector. And again, we want both, but the key collector is not that high percentage that it was anymore. At one point, key collectors were about 25% of my business. It has dropped down to 10%, but my business has increased from the $3 to $7
Yeah.
customer.
Well, I did a sale and I did 25% off all of my wall books, which books on the wall are pretty much $40 and up into the thousands, you guys know.
No.
But all my $5 to $25 books were 50% off. And I blew through 3 shorts of $5 to $25 books. And I had all my dollar books were 50 cents. And I blew through 2 longs of that. And I had like new books were at half, also 50% off. And I blew through 1 long of that. So I got to move a lot of product. People spent a lot of money. It just was, like you said, in quantity instead of
Right.
quality. But I would have to say, like, a lot of the $5 to $25 books were really good keys, just nothing that would bring them to the level of what some of these books are getting that really aren't any better other than they were used in a movie. Or, I think 300 is the first appearance of Venom is, those are blue chip keys, even
Yeah,
though
sure.
there were so many of them printed, they still are blue chips. But we've seen a lot in the last 5 years that aren't blue chip keys that have gone to ridiculous money over stupidness. Like the
Yeah.
Zaniac, Thor's first appearance of the Zaniac because he was on a poster in a movie clip.
Right. But here's the hard data that I took out of Free Comic Book Day, or I'm sorry, Black Friday. And I just pulled it up on my phone because I can't commit this shit to memory. So we had the highest single sales day of any day of this new concept store for one day in the new concept Toledo store. From that, we ran buy one, get one half off on comics, manga, and a few other things. Buy two, get one free on Funkos. I don't have the sales data on how much I gave away because we just promoted those out. So I
Right,
can't
sure.
really see what that was. But I will tell you this, my top 5 performing SKUs for that day. Custom price tag represented 33%, and that's everything higher than $50 items. So we did a third of our sales in 55 and up items. We did, let me do the math, 10% of our sales were $20 items. Another 10% were $10 items. Another 10% was $15 items. And a little less than 10%, probably like 8%, was $25 items. $5 items did not make my top 5 SKUs. And that's most of my comics. But I had people coming up and with a grip of comics off of and guys, everybody in the chat, don't get excited. it's nothing that doesn't exist in a dollar box somewhere else. Every book that I have on that wall is a dollar book everywhere else. But we treat it like it's a $5 book. We put it in a new bag and board. We put a nice shiny 3 cents
Right.
on it. And they were buying the $10 books at the top in our variant section, and then buying another $5 book to get that one half off. We sold so many comic books, and none of them, any of us snobs, I use that lovingly because we're just elitists sometimes. None of us would pay more. Did I just go black?
You're good now.
Yes.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
good.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what you want to look at in retail is not, yes, we can use data from one day, but as in rule in general, if you take 364 days that we're open, we want to be selling as many books as possible. And if you take that percentage and you say how many books are selling under $10 in your store, that's a high percentage, but it's also a high percentage of buyers. So as you get over the $50 range, that percentage of buyers drops and their retention drops as far as how many times they come into the store. So it's a twofold. You can be a store that only sells high-end stuff, but I can guarantee you at the end of the year, I'm going to sell more $5 books at more dollars than you will at waiting for that guy who comes in 20 times a year.
Hey, Dennis, leave and come back.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what he's trying to do. So at the end of the day, you got to be able to sell both, but you also got to make sure that you do not push out that dollar customer. You got to make sure you don't push out that $5 customer.
Right.
They are just as important, and they technically will spend more at the end of the year every single time. If you take a pull box holder, average comic book is between $4.99 and $7.99 this year. Well, finishing up this year, and they're in 52 times a year, and they have 5 items in their pull box. That's a lot of freaking money, especially when you add the add-ons.
Yep.
The one thing, and listen, I know there's key collectors out there, but key collectors, they're very interesting. They want special service sometimes. They're spending a higher dollar amount of dollars. So it's a little bit harder work sometimes to have good stuff for them every single time they come in.
That's just exactly what they want. I mean, it's
exactly. People will come in. Oh, well, it's the same keys. Well, I sell to other people as well. But at the same time, you have people going through your boxes who are just spending a lot of money. So again, we're not saying one is better than the other, but in retail, you better have both.
Yeah.
And you better specialize in both. And that's very, very important. Is the consumer becoming smarter with their $20? Absolutely. If they walk out and they have 5 books versus 1 book, for some people, that's a big deal.
I did back in 2019, I did a live show, and recently I had it cut up to just reuse the content, right, into little snippets. And I had a snippet about investing in comics. It's really short. It's like 30 seconds. And it kind of was talking about where you should focus your money on.
Yeah.
I got so much flack from everybody about, I should only spend my money on these books, and I should only be investing. What about loving the books and reading? Like 20 comments. I only had 25 comics. 20 of the 25 comments were, I just want to read the book. I just want to love the book. And I was like blown away. I was like, oh, I'm that guy, really. If you watch the whole video, you're just seeing a clip where I'm talking to the people who want to invest, and where I think you should invest your money if you're going to. And man, a lot of people were offended.
Sure. I think as a purist, as a collector, as a numeric collector, I think the innocence of comics is very important. And the second you break that innocence of comics rule, especially as a retailer, it's hard to get that customer back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to be able to cater to both, but you need to realize that retention as a retailer is the number one rule in this business.
Nice.
Dennis, you
Repeat
back?
business.
I'm back, baby.
Okay.
So when I first started opening my store, I did a business plan, and I went and I went all over the internet looking for articles to if I was going to get a loan, I needed to have like some backup. And there was an article, and I've never been able to find it since, but in the Journal, the Wall Street Journal, about comic book shops, and that subscribers spent about $40 a month. That was what they had figured out was the average, which I think
I'd
it's
like
a
to know
little
where they-
low.
I think that's way low.
Say that again. Say that one more time.
That the average comic subscriber at a store spent about $40 a month. Now, on average, there are people that only get 2 or 3 books a month. Most of them end up picking more and spend, about $15 or $20 a week, which ends up being, quite a bit more.
Yeah.
But they said that the average was 40. So if you can get 100 subscribers, you're looking at $4,000 a month. That should pay your lights and your rent on a business. So, I mean,
So let me ask you this. Did they say if you have 100 subscribers that only 40 are then pay? In the ghetto
Yeah,
Boris
you know what? I
Bear
wonder if
issue?
they take anything away from the diamond bankruptcy.
yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just
No, that is true. That was not
Yeah.
in the article. And
Yeah.
that was when I was first going into business, so I was quite a bit naive. But I found that it has, the more subscribers you have, the more helpful it is in the business. And those are the people that get like the best well, everybody gets the best customer service, but any extra benefits I try to give to the subscribers. Anything that I get
Sure.
from the companies to give away, they get it first. Anything I get when I'm going to cons that they give to me, I give to the subscribers.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I lost one of my whales when DC did Villains Month. Emmett, you're muted, by the way. DC
Nice.
did Villains Month, and if you remember, there were heavy allocations on that.
Yeah.
And I got allocated, I think it was Dark Knight, whatever the villain was on Dark Knight. And we got like 4. And I actually had 10 pulls for that. But I had one of my whales decide he wanted to add everything for that. And he got upset with me because I didn't give him one of those 4 instead of the 4 of the 10 people who had it on their pull. And he just slammed his books down on the table and said, "That's it, I'm out." And I never saw him again. And he was a $200 a week customer.
Yeah. I buy at market. If I miss a book for a customer,
but
whether it's my fault or the
book,
distributor,
Yeah. that's a little bit
everyone got allocated.
Yeah.
Like, I
That
don't,
was an
except for
allocated thing.
Midtown and Lone Star. It was really weird.
Yep.
But yeah. But I lost a whale because I couldn't get him a book that nobody had.
right.
I had to play Sophie's Choice on the 4 customers that did get it,
Right.
I think
Well,
that
the-
happens
the-
a
you know,
lot
the-
for
right.
retailers
Oh,
where
yeah.
they gotta, choose who gets certain books.
Sure.
But
And I used to consider myself one of the best at being able to do that. And this book was just impossible.
hey, I want to
Yeah.
do a big shout out real quick to JSS Brooklyn, another one of our great moderators over here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Listen, I got to tell you real quickly, and we'll get back into this conversation. Having a week off from this channel saw a major difference. It's amazing how important consistency is with a brand, and having a week off, even though we didn't take a week off, we did it on House of Stein, but people couldn't come to this brand channel to get that, saw a major change in all my analytics and everything. So I just want to say thank you to you guys that hang out with us all you live viewers, you make this show amazing and fun. And everybody who catches us on the rewind, everybody who's a new subscriber, all of our members, you guys who are members, you don't know how much that supports this channel. If you're a member of this channel, you are making this channel run. You are helping me pay for our StreamYard production, our Pro Tools production, Premiere Pro production, all that stuff you're helping us pay for. And I can't thank you enough. So I just wanted to break in and say that, and shout out to JSS Brooklyn and the rest of our mods for continuing to put that in the chat. So, all right, Jesse, sorry
Hell
about
yeah.
that, brother.
Yeah. Consistency is very important. So before this show, I told Shannon, I said, I'm burnt out. I think I'm going to call it a night. And she's like, get your ass over to the store and get on the show because you don't want to miss a show. You'll regret it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think there is a commitment for us three retailers and Brian, obviously, of course, and everybody else on this channel, which is like 25 awesome people that get in front of this microphone for Beyond Wednesdays. But there is a commitment, and you have to be committed to do this. This isn't writing an article and doing a Facebook post. This is going live and speaking what you feel is right, and we're not always right.
Nope, but we're down to have
I'm
the
always
conversation.
right, Jesse. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Except for you. Yeah. Yep.
So, okay, let's circle back around to this key fatigue thing. What are you guys seeing taking the place of people buying these blue chip books? What are people spending money on instead?
So everybody's seen Indiana Jones, and he's got the golden idol there, and he takes out the bag of sand, which we all know doesn't weigh the same as a big giant idol full of gold. But he's trying to figure out a way to swap that bag at the same time as the idol. And I think that happens in our world multiple times a year, multiple times every other year. All of a sudden, you think that the golden idol is the entire way to go. I know retailers that went so heavy on Marvel #1s, and they were paying 75 and 80% on the dollar as they watched COVID and those prices shoot up. And then every time I watch Swaggle House and Mercenaut on Buy the Dip, and I'm just like, guys, just staple money to your wall. It'll probably go up faster than what you're over investing in, because that golden idol is going to get swapped out for something else. Lots of $20 MCU keys, lots of $20 Star Wars key books. And then you look, if you're flipping $20 key books and you lose one $20 key book like Dr. Aphra, okay, you still got Darth Malik, and you still got, Darth Neil and all of these other ones that might still creep up. But they don't think that way. They think that these things are always going to go up. If you buy at a reasonable rate, and you buy at the current market, and you flip what you need to flip, and you squirrel away what you don't need to sell, you're always going to be ahead of the game.
I agree.
I just think culturally there's a shift towards discovery. Instead of watching shows and I got to chase this book and go look for this book, finding your own fucking books, going and talking to the owner and like, what's a really good series? What's an iconic run? What's, and then picking books out of that and trying to make that run and read that run.
It's funny you say that, Emmett, because the official music pub in the chat, good dude, been all around Beyond Wednesday shows lately. He says there is a commitment also with the viewers. This information is what I use to help guide the business of comics I enjoy being in. And that discovery that you're talking about, Emmett, also comes from places like this. Like,
Yeah.
I got so many good comments, and I'm not using this to push my live sales, but I got so many good comments on I did an eBay live comic sale on Sunday night and on Monday night, and I did a card sale on Monday night. And I got so many comments from people saying, I just enjoyed hanging out in this live sale and learning all the information about everything that you
Yep.
talked about. And
Yeah.
the reason why that's important to me is because all the items that I pick to sell, there's always got to be some cool factor to it. Whether a first appearance, an origin story, something that I love about the book or the card, it's got to be something cool, and you might not know about it, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to spend an extra 2 minutes, 3 minutes to tell you about it instead of just selling another book. Now, I get it
Right.
that that's not everybody's way to sell things. Shout out to Jesse who says always be slanging, right? And I get that, but there is something to be said about that discovery of finding what you're really into. And we've seen a really big negative effect that's happened over the COVID era of the hobby, where, like, for instance, there's a content creator, Sticky Goose, that took a real big ton of heat because he got angry that creators like Comic Tom and Key Collector app were telling him which books to buy, and all those books tanked. And
he was listening to him. That's the problem.
Yes, yes.
I just did my first eBay live sale on Monday. And Eggplant, that's why I asked if you were here. Eggplant, if you can, I'll tell everybody what I did, but you can confirm it or not. Every book that I sold, I had to have a story with this. I had to explain why you, the customer. Now, I know Eggplant knows what it is. I know anybody who popped in from, watching me and from, real life. Yeah, Eggplant cleaned up big time. But I needed to make sure that I was educating the people I was trying to sell these books to understand why I'm bringing it to you. If I bring a book to you, it's not because it's the flash in the pan from this week and I'm trying to unload it at the high price. I'm bringing you books that I think are important, that you need in your collection, at prices that you're definitely going to want to buy.
Yep.
Eggplant literally is going to put his kids through college off of what he bought from me at the prices. But I'll only do it. I only do this show because I get to help educate.
Right.
I do the live sale because I want to educate the buyer. I can just put it up for a buy it now and say, fuck it, who cares? Anytime. But if I'm going to give you my authenticity, if I'm going to give you my hour and a half, I want to make sure you know why I'm telling you should buy this.
Right. So Sunday night, I start my show at 12:30 a.m. So basically, I'm starting at Monday morning at 12:30 a.m.
That's crazy.
Yep. I got 300 books to sell. 300 books I can sell on eBay Live. It takes me about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So traditionally, I end at 3:30. Sunday night, I was on Monday morning until 5:30. Why? Because when you start talking about stories, it's very interesting, especially for someone like myself who started selling books in a comic book store in 1982. And I'm actually telling you the story of opening up Wolverine #1 and the reaction of people. So the value of selling books is not technically the comic, it's the experience that you're getting from it. So if you can give great comic book therapy on every book that they're buying, I think that's very important. I know at the end of the day, and I will challenge anybody, if you have 300, I got 300 people in my room. At the end of the day, you're invoicing 15 people.
Yep.
The rest are watchers and they're just having fun. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep.
One of the things, Jesse, that you talked about is you actually spurred this conversation about seeing what people are buying. And you talked about how people are coming in and instead of buying one big book, they're buying five, $25
Right.
books, and how important that is. Do you see that the people are doing this? Are they just buying willy-nilly, or do you see them using Key Collector? Do you see them asking, what is that type of buyer that is buying that type of?
No, I think what happens when you're in a new boutique store where you're more accessorizing your sales than just selling a comic book. So if a Star Wars person walks up to your counter and they have their 10 Star Wars books, they also have, Star Wars socks, and they have Star Wars action figures, and they have Star Wars posters, and they have Star Wars pops, and you're engaging with them, and you're filling them, making them feel that their genre is very, very important to us. And when you see that genre and you see the Star Trek section, or you see the Godzilla section, and you're able to walk away with stuff that you didn't think you were going to buy because you didn't think you needed other than those comics, I think that's very important. So I think when you're opening up someone's wallet, they have to, number one, like you, and they have to also understand that you're giving them some form of education when they walk out. So they want to be smarter, not just with product in their hands. They also want to feel like they're welcome back. So I think my point was Friday we had a great day, but when we looked at our numbers, only 30% of our sales were comic books. And we had a good day, not as big as Dennis, but we had a great day. And I'm saying, wait a minute, these are people that would have left my store, went to Spencer's and bought the shirt, went to
Right.
Spencer's and would have bought the sock.
The
No, we're
socks.
now selling that to them, right? So
Yep.
I think it's very important to look at your customers as a whole, and as sellers, not say, oh my gosh, I won't sell dollar books. I won't sell $100 books. No, you're going to sell whatever the customer wants and whatever the customer needs. And that's very important. My biggest thing in this boutique store is to listen to what people say. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff. Man, I wish you had Godzilla socks. And next time they walk in, you say, oh, by the way, here's your Godzilla socks. So I think we're selling for the now, we're selling for the future, but we're also understanding that $20, how much of that $20 can I keep in my store? And I think that's very, very important. So when we talk about the consumer maybe not using key collector as much, it's because in my particular case, they're buying product that would never be on key collector anyways.
Yeah.
Until I get Nick to put socks up there and start
Yes.
on the value of socks.
Hey man, if Nick gives himself a sock wholesaler, a sock manufacturer, be selling some red Sonia socks.
Yeah. So here's just an example of the key collector where it doesn't really, I mean, it's really good for the most part. I do like it. I do use it. But so the DC Advanced Dungeons and Dragons comic.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're none of them are keys. If you look in key collector, they're not keys. He has them listed at $3, but you look on eBay and every issue gets $10. Every single issue sells for $10. So,
well, that's that. Emmett, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that was what I was trying to go to before everything started breaking down. Part of that Indiana Jones pivot is everybody starts chasing MCU books. I went for Dave Stevens. I started doing Dave Stevens shows. The shows I'm up against are all MCU shows. I was building a Dave Stevens audience. By the end of it, Dave Stevens started peaking and we were selling huge books. And I was like, okay, I've done my part with that. Now I'm going to go transition over here to something else that nobody else is doing. If you follow the philosophies of Bruce Lee, and you do not lock yourself into any one form, you will be able to go into any vessel. You will be able to go anywhere that the market is.
Yep.
And it's that simple.
Yep.
Or Gretzky. Don't go to where the puck is.
Right.
Go to where the puck's gonna be.
Exactly.
Yep.
If you look at our TSR collection over there and you see Baldur's Gate and you see I can't see everything over there. It's on the far thing. But there's about 30 Dungeon and Dragon themed comic books there. And that's how you sell more books, is you advance themselves in the same genre, right? So if I take my 1 and 2 items that we sell in the store every week is Godzilla and Sonic. That doesn't mean I'm taking the Godzilla guy over to Sonic and selling him Sonic stuff, right? He's over at the kaiju place buying more kaiju stuff. Yeah. And the Sonic guy, we're keeping him in the kind of the kiddish area. So knowing your genres and expanding it within the genres is very important. Bad girls, bondage, strong women.
Yeah.
Those are all three different types of women
Yep.
customers, buyers, right? And not all three buy those three genres.
Right.
Well, that gives me a good chance to segue into something interesting. There's been a very interesting thing going on in comics lately. A big hate boner for Frank Cho. Have you guys been seeing this lately?
No,
No.
don't fuck with my boy Frank.
Yeah. Well,
Why is that?
I'll show you.
His outrage covers. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, I think if you know who Frank Cho is, I mean, what is the, I mean,
Didn't
So-
they ever read Meadows?
Here's what I want to get into. And what I want to talk about is
Two Dogs. I saw that one. That's hilarious.
all these are great. Every single one of these are fantastic that I would love to own. Every single one of them. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the topic. If you don't realize that sex sells, especially in comic books, I don't think you should be in this industry. This is such a big part of our industry. We are a vast majority of male buyers in this industry, and even our female buyers love the female form, okay?
Right.
It's just the way it is. The female form is beauty personified.
I think J. Scott Campbell has achieved exactly maximum velocity with that, because I think he is literally the 50-50 artist. He has 50% women who love the way he draws women, and he has 50% dudes who love the way he draws women.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what the number one selling title in the 1930s was for women?
Millie the Model.
Well, yes, but
Oh.
Jungle Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jungle Girl was the number one. Trust me, no guy was saying, "Man, I wonder how she swings on ropes and how she's going to defeat that tiger."
Here's another
Look at
perfect
those
example.
covers.
One of the biggest books on the secondary market right now that's in all the hot lists is this Aerotech book, Aerotech. Very sexual.
That's Chaikin, right?
Yep. Howard Chaikin.
How many of the women have penises? That's my first question. Because I got bait and switched by him with Black Kiss.
Yes.
Just
yes,
saying.
Yeah, Black Kiss is very interesting. A lady
It's also a
asked me
good
about it
selling book
today.
too.
Yeah, a lady asked, she's like, "Hey, what's this Black Kiss about?" I'm like, "Hey, let me show you where the Sonic section is." Yeah,
But-
I'm like,
but my
you got
point
two kids
is-
with you, so
My point is
Go ahead.
that sex sells, and it's not
Yeah.
just the female form. One of the hottest books in the secondary market right now are those sweater weather
Batman,
books.
Superman.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Batman,
Also
Superman.
the-
Dude,
Yeah.
what was it? Number 2 last week on you and Stein's list?
Yeah.
I listened to that Saturday morning when I was going to Chris Roop's warehouse sale. And
was-
but the thing is there's no dudes who read Frank Cho comics paying $200 for that book. That's dudes who read Nightwing. That's
Yes.
dudes who, that's an entirely different market. Yahweh sells huge amounts of manga to girls and guys.
you know why Conan never had a shirt, right?
Sex sells.
The Hiberia
go.
does not have shirt makers.
No, look
Yeah.
at every no a shirt. He never had a shirt, even in the modern times, even in the what ifs, and even in the stuff. Warlord tried to put some chainmail on him for 2 issues, and they took it right off, right?
Yep.
And that's not saying anything other than sex sells, and
Yep.
people want, when they look at Conan, they want to see his physique, his body.
Yep.
And I think that's very, very important. So yeah, it's very,
I-
very interesting.
I got a funny story to tell you guys. So as Jesse knows, I was on Grim Fairy Tales before he was. And I got it the first mention in Wizard Magazine, and for that they loved me. And I had Ralph and
Joe.
what's his name? Joe. And I had them at a retailer summit. And I'm like, guys, can I tell you the worst selling comic book you've ever put in my store? And
Yep.
they're like, what? I go, Jack and the Beanstalk, Grim Fairy Tale #8. You have a fucking dude on the cover climbing a beanstalk.
Yep.
Don't ever fucking do that again.
Yep. Mike DeBalfo one day did a cover, and I said, you know, I ain't going to be able to sell that cover. Everybody loves my art. You're drawing a guy on a cover. I think we'll buy 2 for the pool box holders, and that's it. It's going to sell, and it's always going to sell. We can take the last 80 years, and I can guarantee you a strong woman, bad girl, bondage, well, not bondage. One of those 2 is in the top 10
Well,
in
and-
sales.
and
You know, there's
look
a lot of bondage covers after they outlawed it.
But
They
look at the pop music market. Who's the #1 music person right now for young girls? Do you guys know?
Carpenter, Christina
Sabrina Carpenter.
yeah.
And what does she do every one of her performances? She comes out wearing a towel. She whips off the towel, and she's wearing like Fredericks of Hollywood lingerie with stockings and glitter and all of that. And you look at that audience, it's all girls. And they are losing their effing mind on what costume she has underneath her towel this time. She's got trashy covers for her album covers.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look, Taylor Swift is starting to get a little trashy because she sees that.
She's always been trashy.
No, but she went for a whole sweater era, like
Yeah, she's
turtlenecks
down
and all that
home,
stuff.
Yeah.
So, but now she's starting to get back into the trashy. And then this was like a huge one for me. Do you guys remember Spinal Tap?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. The whole controversy in the first Spinal Tap was their album was too sexy, was too sexist. It had a greased woman with a black glove. Smell the glove, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they released an all black album, None More Black. One of my favorite movies of all time. Guess what Spinal Tap just released in small batch vinyl? The original cover of a greased girl with the black glove. Tell me that is not a paradigm shift.
Right.
And that's another cycle. That
and
is
I bought it.
100% another cycle. Sexy,
Yes.
back off the sexiness. Sexy,
Yeah.
back off the sexiness, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to be like water. You've got to be able to follow these trends. If everybody's going here, just like Wayne Gretzky, you better be where the puck's at. And you better have enough inventory to be able to handle that when you get there.
Exactly. And so I think when you saw Polito doing Kickstarters and he was selling direct to that consumer base, I think that's a big stepping stone. You know, it's very important. People ask why people do live streaming. The reason for live streaming was done for one sole reason, was to hit orphan customers across the nation that didn't have comic book stores. And if you can't sell to someone that's not in your store, then that becomes a problem for you. There are people out there that want to spend money. They don't have a place to hang out. So when they're on a live stream and they're hanging out with other people across the nation, it's very important to them. I'm not saying someone can't survive not doing live streaming, but if you want to reach a new customer base, that also means you better know all the genres and what sells, right? Yeah. Tomorrow night, we're doing a lot of strong women stuff. Vampirella, Dawn. Why? Because that's all that people were asking me for this past show. And so, yeah, we got to do a show. We're still going to show all the other stuff. But that genre forever will be very, very important. Are there stores in the Bible Belt that might have an issue selling it in their stores? Absolutely. And I can name one in Kansas City that has nothing with women on their covers. Oh, well, I mean, that's their customer base.
So if you guys don't think synchronicity follows me around, ladies and gentlemen, it is Frank Cho's birthday as well today, Dennis. You share a birthday with Frank Cho.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to Frank Cho.
And Britney Spears, who has completely thrown modesty out the window. Britney Spears is December 2nd as well.
Man,
There we
I
go.
love Britney.
I love them all. Love them all. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I think when you just have to understand how much of a seller that is for people who buy, comic book adjacent items, whether it's, you know, pop culture, whatever it is, that the sex sells is always going to be part of it. I don't
Right.
care, you know, what you say,
So
what you
here's
think.
a great thing. Start with horror from 1940 to 1980 and find one cover that does not have a lady on it. And in that cover, the most likely that lady is being attacked by a creature or Dracula or werewolf. So
Or chained to something.
or changes something. Correct. I sent Brian an article and about Sacramento not being allowed to sell horror books since 1949, which is freaking crazy to think. And now they are going to pass it and they're going to get this ban lifted, but people really in the especially seduction of innocent era really despise comic books and what it brought to the dance.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is one of
Yeah.
those like famous laws that, like, what is the law in Arizona that if you steal somebody's horse, you can string that person up or something crazy.
Yeah.
It's like those throwback laws that if you're a guy in an all women's boarding room, you have to have 1 foot touching the ground at all times.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is surprising.
puritanical.
What a waste of money to like have to vote on all this and everything. It's like, this is silly. Absolutely silly.
And the only reason why this is going to pass is the head legislator is a comic book collector. And he's like, F you guys. This ban is being lifted.
Well, and here's the thing, and just to shout out Heidi McDonald in the chat, and I forget what her quote was, and I'll say it here in a second. If you could put it on screen.
There's a big difference between Sabrina Carpenter and Frank Cho. One is the male gaze, the other isn't.
Yep.
Okay, so here's my question. Brian, you've been trending the hot books, the books that get the most money in the chase. When Marvel decided to start putting for lack of a better word, turtlenecks on all their females and big cover-up pants and no tight asses, where did all the money in the industry go? It went to Grimm fairy tale books. It went to what's the
Shikari, Power Hour,
Shikari.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, those were all retailer variants that were allowed.
Yep.
Okay. And then when they started seeing their money go and they started seeing all the kids buy sexy skins for all their Marvel Rivals characters, and they realized, oh, wait, we can have Peach Momoko show Psylocke's ass again, and those will go for $20 a piece and sell out. Maybe we should be putting some asses on these covers again. And then you get the Marvel Rivals swimsuit.
Wheeljack, yeah. Look at Wheeljack, yeah.
You know, and then guess what? It swings back. So Heidi, to answer your question, yeah, the industry wants the male gaze. That's why they're putting asses on covers again. Yeah. And Frank Cho has always known that because he always puts an ass on a cover. Yeah. Okay. It's the people who thought that there was some high ideal of covering women up like burqas and puritanical, whatever. Those are the people who've been proven wrong, and the male gaze sells, and that's where they're going. And if you don't think that audience full of 15-year-old girls at Sabrina Carpenter doesn't have a handful of 29-year-old and 35-year-old dads that took their daughters to Sabrina Carpenter because Sabrina Carpenter
is hot,
isn't ugly and not covered up with the turtleneck.
There's a funny
dads don't drop their daughters off for $200 tickets at Sabrina Carpenter concerts. They don't.
So one of the creators that lived, actually, was my neighbor, Raven Gregory, for Grimm.
Love Raven.
Yep.
Shout out to Raven Gregory.
Yeah.
Weight loss master.
Yes, sir. he used to come to the store for signings,
The
and
gift.
he would always ask, "Hey, what did people think about the stories?" Because he was the writer, and I'm like, "The stories for what?" And he's like, "Grim Fairy Tales." I'm like, "So what do you want on your pizza?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, let's just go to another subject. You know, they're buying it for the DeBalfo cover. They're buying it for the
Ebas.
Ebas,
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ebas.
the Nia Rafino cover.
Yes.
It's just part of the game, and you just got to know it. Are you ignoring the guy that buys action? No, you're selling the guy that buys action comics. But you know, when you order an action comic book and you put the books that aren't for subscribers on the display, the chance of you selling that versus a Grim Fairy Tales great cover is
Well,
night and day.
let's just put it one more step further than that, Jesse. You're buying Action Comics in the 2005, 2010 era, and all of a sudden, Supergirl starts showing up in more and more of the arcs. And Supergirl's got that cute little skirt on. And then
Real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to
My
Heidi
birthday,
McDonald.
Heidi.
Heidi says, I definitely picked the worst possible night to watch live.
Right.
By the way, since you're here, Heidi, we're going to continue to give you your flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys go check out the Comics Beat. It is one of the best websites on the internet for comics. Go check it out.
I read that over comic book.
I read it before I read ICV 2.
And
Oh,
CBR.
And Bleeding Cool. Yeah, all
Yeah.
of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, Bleeding
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
It's my number one.
yeah.
I think we like this page because of culture, tradition, and we know that's going to be kind of followed with most of the stories. And there's an importance with her really investigating and really doing the due diligence that you should do before an article.
Can I tell you
to
why I
come
like
out.
why I really like Heidi? I don't know Heidi. I met her for the first time, not in person, on the show when she came on. But that is the reason why I really like Heidi. Heidi came into the Lion's Den. For her, this is the Lion's Den, and she doesn't back down to nobody. She doesn't take
no
any
shrinking
shit.
flower.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She is the real deal, and she has been part of
yeah.
in the comics industry and part of comics for as long as I can remember. I love going finding the old school comics interview magazines, or when she was writing articles in it. So I just want to, again, I'm gonna,
Hey, little Lulu taught her to be a tough broad. Good on
Amen.
you, Heidi.
Yep.
Amen. Shout out to Heidi McDonald. So we love you. We love you, Chica.
But
we love
what
you.
I was saying is, Jesse, you have your Action Comics number. Action Comics does not fluctuate unless Jeff Johns and Richard Donner are doing a 4-issue arc or some stupid thing like that. But Action Comics has a solid number, and then they got a sexy Supergirl cover on it. To put an extra 5 or 10 into that order. Same thing with Batman. Even Batman, what's the current issue that had Catwoman on it? Was that issue 14?
That was Absolute Batman 13.
13. I guarantee you,
Crushed it. Crushed it.
if you were a retailer and you're just like, oh, Absolute Batman, order the exact same number, order, and then sexy Catwoman shows up on the cover and you don't put an extra 10 or 20 on that, you just got owned, because more people are going to pick that extra cover up because of that cover.
Well, not only
Right.
that, a perfect example, Dennis. I saw somebody in the comments. It was for a different thing. They put in the comments, my closest LCS does not have dollar books, so I go to an LCS much farther away because I want to go check out dollar bins. It's another perfect example, like you're saying, Dennis. Your LCS, you didn't buy any extra Absolute Batman 13s with the Catwoman covers. Guess what? Those people are going to go to a one farther away to get those covers.
The next
Right.
opportunity, you won't get the next opportunity.
Right.
Exactly, Brian. They're going to go, oh, that new
Well,
hot cover's out. Oh, they won't
look at
have it
the-
there. Go to
Look at the
other
House of
place.
Stein. Look at the House of Stein episode. We lost at least half of our live views the week we were there, and then we lost half the live. We broke their habit. And I love you, and I say this with all due respect, chat and industry. We are Pavlovian dogs. The retailers are Pavlovian dogs that order from the publishers because we know what we're supposed to buy. The buyers come into our stores because they have a Pavlovian experience. Be there on Wednesday. Make sure you get the books you want. And if they don't have it, go to the second store or the third store.
Right.
Do your Saturday hustle. Go to the stores that have dollar boxes on Saturdays. Whatever that routine is, you break that routine, you've broken your habit with that customer. You can't break the habit.
Right. The rule of thumb is, and I know some retailers are going to say that's BS what you're saying, and it's probably right because you're the only store in the state. The most loyal thing consumers are loyal to are comics, and then the retailer that has them. They a good, great comic book collector will go anywhere it takes to get their comics.
Yes.
That's
even
just the
online.
nature of
And
the beast.
Jesse's proven if you don't have it in the 1,200 cities that have comic book stores, 75,000 sellers are going to be selling those comic books to the other people in towns that don't have a store.
Yep, absolutely. So you have to understand that the consumer is not only picking to shop at your store, they're choosing to open that wallet. And then they're also deciding, do I leave this store with that extra 20 I have in my pocket, or do I spend it here?
Yeah.
And that's going to be very important on what you have on your displays. What you have in your back room can extend that customer to stay here. We should not have this habit of, this is what I have on my floor. Oh, you're looking for Don? Well, while you're looking for Don, let me go in the back. Oh, by the way, I got these issues too. I haven't gotten price. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of you. So again, always be selling, but always be listening to your consumer and understand they can shop anywhere. They don't have to just shop with you. The mention of live streaming has changed the ownership of some owners who said, it's my customer. They can't go anyplace else to shop. Those days are over with.
Well, and you saw that article that or that video I sent you guys in the chat a couple of days ago. Gary Vaynerchuk is talking about social selling, which is exactly what Jesse's been doing for 10 years now. Yep. You know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that is where all the markets are starting to head. And if you're not playing with one of those places, you're going to lose an entire customer base.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an all birthday episode, and we forgot to give one of our favorite people in the world a happy belated birthday to Mr. Brian Polito. Look at that.
So, Brian, can you pull up that comic shop that I played you? I sent it to the group chat and said the guy went from his $1 books to his 50-cent books. And I wanted to, I don't want to call this guy out.
Is it this one
I don't
right
want
here?
to blast him.
Let's see here. This one right here?
Yes.
It's Greg the Ghoul coming to you from Newcomb Comics over here in Lambertville, New Jersey. And our 50-cent sale continues today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So stop on by. Doors open here at 11 a.m. at Newcomb Comics. We've got over 80 or so dollar bins that have magically transformed into 50-cent comic books. Tons and tons of great stuff here on the table. And guess what? A little extra bonus for today only. We're going to run a 25% off the entire store sale. So that's tons of great graphic novels, oversized books, lots of action figures, and huge statues. We have tons of Blu-rays, lots of manga, new and old stuff here. So stop on by. That 25% off sale is for today only, Black Friday. But our 50-cent sale runs all weekend long. So if you can't make it in today, stop on in tomorrow. Or
That's a big deal. 50-cent sale on books is a big deal. And that's the type of things that people just love. And I mean, look at that.
Right. People love it. But Brian, can I point out a few things that I think Emmett and Jesse and I noticed that people like yourself don't? With all due respect.
I'll be right back. One sec. Go for it, though.
Jesse, when you look at this, that's 40 on both sides. That's roughly 24 feet down the middle of the store. Am I wrong?
Just about, yes.
Times 6 feet across.
Yep.
The square footage, and here's the thing, man. I don't see anything out of those boxes. I see them putting more stuff in, but I don't see enough leaving that box to pay the rent on those 6 plastic tables that he's got there.
Right. But let me be devil's advocate in just what you said. Why is he having 50-cent sales? Because he's got all this product.
Yeah.
And that's product, he has no more space for it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and look at that. And I'm glad Brian paused on this, because I saw that too. Remember, I'm talking about giant stacks of boxes all over the place.
Yep.
Look right up there in the front.
Yep.
Giant. I can't. What is in those? I don't know, but I can't buy it if it's all sitting in a giant stack of shit.
Yeah.
This is like one of those perfect opportunities where I wish I could be the John Tapper of the comic book industry and just go in there and bar rescue this guy, because I just feel like he's doing something wrong if he's got to give this valuable space that he has dedicated to dollar books, and he's got to knock it to 50 cents to sell it on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And Emmett, do you have dollar boxes?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Where are they at?
They are tucked at the back of the store.
Yeah. So they're not right when you walk in the door, taking up the entire middle.
Yeah.
No, we call it prime real estate, right? That's the prime real estate.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that gets you excited and that you probably buy and overpay for, even on sale. They're the real collectible stuff. That's what's going to be there.
Yeah. Position A.
But
Go
I
ahead.
think Jesse's completely right. This guy's just got too much inventory. It would probably be better for him. I mean, I guess he wants to give a gift to his people too, like the customers. But like, if he has too much, it's like call somebody like any one of us.
Yeah.
That knows like and sell it to us for $40 a long or $50 a long.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And just blow out half of it.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think there's this theory that there are retailers that believe in a bad book, and then there are retailers like us that believe every book is sellable. And when you make every book sellable, it's very hard to sell it in a 50-cent long box when there's another 60, because here's the mentality of someone who buys a lot of comics. I start on box number 1, and I'm already gazing at box number 2, number 3. Oh, I gotta get through this box. Well, I gotta get box. Oh my gosh, I got 58 more boxes to go. Right? So we're not really focused on the box we're looking at, because oh my gosh, Dennis just pulled 10 books out of that box.
Yeah.
What the hell did I miss?
The book you're looking at is never good enough.
Right,
well, and that's part of that. Be where the puck isn't.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, I look through, if you, Jesse, or if Emmett, Jesse, and I all look through the same 80 boxes.
Yep.
We are all going to be, and I mean, one of us starts here, one of us starts there,
Yep.
or you could even, however we want to do it. I guarantee you, if I said, Emmett, you have to pick out 20 books. Jesse, you have to pick out 20 books. Dennis, you have to pick out 20 books. We're going to pick out a stack of 20 different books.
Yep.
Emmett, I remember some of your earliest videos where you're going through all of the war comics, and you're talking about every one of those, and you hand sell those to everybody that's like you that walks in. I'm going to pick none of the war books. I'm going to pick this, that, or the other thing.
Exactly.
I just think that, you know, I'll come to a show midday and I'll walk through a dealer and he's walking out with a long box. He goes, "Oh, you missed everything, Dennis." "Oh yeah." "Oh, well, you missed this.
Yeah.
You missed that. You missed it." And I'll put together the same long box. And I went through it after you went through it. So you missed all of this.
Yes. Yeah. And the problem is that's you looking at the boxes yourself. When you have more competition and there's 20 people looking at the same time, then you're jumping, right? You're trying to jump in front of people, say, well, he's picked out 25 books. Let's get to that box in front of him. So there is a competition thing that happens in these type of things. But when you see someone who has that many dollar books in their store, that's two things. Number one, and I don't know the guy.
And like I said, I don't want to blast him. I
think it's great what he's doing. He's selling books.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. But I think if he took his time and went through each box, he would be able to find some stuff that most people that don't have time would say, "Oh, ROM books? You have a run of ROM? I'll take all those ROMs." instead of trying to find a ROM collection in 60 books at 50 cents each.
Right.
They'll pay you $2 each. They'll pay you $3 each.
Yep.
Numeric collectors are very interesting, right? You have the guy, I can go through 2 long boxes at the same time, right? So you're double fanning, you're going through. Then you have the guy who picks up every book, opens up his box, his book, right? Because he still has his list in the book. Do I need an Action 422? Nope.
Yep.
Oh, next book, Dawn 3. Do I need a Dawn 3? And it's like, dude, it's going to take you all day.
You know what I love about those guys? They do not value their time.
No.
Their time does not have a value attached to it.
Great point.
They want to get everything on this list as cheap as possible and round out that list. And they will spend 2 hours going through every dollar box until they've checked off everything on that list. And they'll buy $5 worth of books.
Yeah. And I told you about the story where a guy walks in at 10 a.m. and he goes, okay, I'm going to look through the dollar boxes. And in our store, we have something like 200, the dollar boxes in Arizona is like 200 boxes, but it's way in the back. Not a big deal. I'm bringing my lunch. You do whatever you want, dude. So anyways, I go home and we close the store at 1 a.m. I go home and the alarm starts going off at 1:30 a.m. And I'm like, what the hell? So I meet the police there. And sure enough, he's in the back, still looking through comics. He's got his phone light on. And I go, dude, what the hell? He goes, oh, I thought the power went out. So that's how dedicated. At the end, this is the funny part. He comes up to the counter. Police are pissed that I had locked a customer in the store. Here's my 20 bucks. I'm like, you know what? Just take them. Right? So that is your dedicated dollar book guy who spends 12 hours in a store, gets locked in, and still only has 20 comics to pull. So we have to respect all type of collectors out there and understand that, you know, whatever makes them happy. You don't see key collectors in a store for more than an hour and a half. A dollar book buyer, shoot, he's in that store. What time do you close?
No. Well, okay. So, to me, it's an amateur because I can flip through. I mean, all of us, we could flip through a 20 long box collection. But
they're checking their checklist because that's the way they live.
Checking checklist.
We're not looking at anything other than
I might not know a couple of them, but I know enough of them that my time isn't worth going through and checking a list.
Yeah, but you're not looking for comic book therapy. You're not trying to stretch out your $20 bill that you might only be able to afford for the whole week.
I'm an elitist snob. Don't you know that?
Absolutely.
I have a guy that comes and he has the binder with all the loose leaf pages in it, and it's every thing. And then I also have a couple that come and they go through my 50-cent bin, which is all my books that are damaged. Right. And they'll go through every single 50-cent book, checking to see if it's on their list that they need it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's funny is I just lost my train of thought. So never mind. It's not funny. I lost my train of thought.
I wanted to talk about a couple other news stories and stuff that happened throughout the week. I know, Jesse, you were talking about there was another update in the Diamond Comics bankruptcy. More money going to pay non-comics industry people. Lawyers are getting ready to make some more money. Explain what's going on here, Jesse.
Yeah, so another $900,000 was billed to the bankruptcy. At some point, there's just between Chase or JP Morgan and the lawyers, there's no money left. You know, Diamond's a corporation. They're not an LLC. And so a corporation going through bankruptcy is a lot different than an LLC. So they're not going to have any money for anybody in the end. Why? Because no one will call this quits. They're just saying, keep on going. And guess what? When they call it quits, guess who gets paid still? The lawyers are going to say, well, let's write this up, right? Yeah, you can't see me. Absolutely. And that's what's going to happen to everybody in this lawsuit. They're going to walk away saying,
nothing.
How did I just spend the last 11 months and didn't get anything out of this. It's so bad that I'm surprised the judge is still letting this go. They're either looking at I don't know what they're looking at. Let's put it this way, because they're not looking at monthlies anymore, because that time is over with. They don't have to do monthlies anymore. That was just the first 90 days. So who knows what's going to happen here? But next month they are going to get another bill, and that bill is just about going to be the same.
That's the 1-year anniversary bill.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And so the smart thing for everybody out there is to walk away, do your business, and at the end, it is what it is. Move on. We have to move on. They have to move on. But these bills aren't going away. Wow. Yeah, another $900,000. This is amazing. How are you getting up to $900,000? How much more research are you doing? Now, is there an issue with Alliance in Florida doing the lawsuit against them? Absolutely, and that's where a lot of this is coming from. So we'll see what happens.
At this point, like, you know, this all is such a big fucking foobar. If for those of you old school guys, you know what that term stands for.
Right.
It's such a big foobar that, you know, Alliance should be getting something out of this. They got fucked, but in the end, they actually they came out on top because they didn't want, you know, thank God they didn't get, you know, stuck with all the bullshit. But at the same time, you know, they probably still feel a little bit of anger. Yeah, they should get something out of this. This was just so fucked up.
Yeah, they people that buy companies this big, especially in bankruptcy, they're not buying to say, oh, okay, we got this. What we then do tomorrow? They're already 90 days, 120 days, 6 months out of what they then do. And that starts on day one. And so I think at the end of the day, no money is going to be left. This is going to be one for the record books. We were talking about Guinness Book of World Records. This bankruptcy deserves the Guinness Book of World Records for the worst bankruptcy in history. Well, not the worst. Enron and all those are kind of big, but this is the worst bankruptcy in the comic book history.
So this is the funny part.
See.
Total legal, banking, and consulting fees in the bankruptcy and related cases now total around $16.6 million.
And if you remember, the entire thing sold for $49 million.
Yep.
That is 1/3 of what was collected by the buyers.
When is Nicky going to get his money back? Give Nicky his money back. That's all we want.
Yeah.
And man, I'll tell you what, I talked to 2 retailers that have been dining on all of these clearance sales. And I'm just like, dude, I just can't give them money.
Yeah.
I know that everything they have was stolen in the bankruptcy, and I just can't reward them. I got plenty of other places to spend my money than 10 cents on the dollar to vultures and thieves.
Someone was asking, someone was asking about what we pay for lawn boxes, and you know, I haven't bought a lot of lawns before, so I don't know if that's done by square foot. I know he's trying to say long box, but he spelled it as lawn. So I'm way above these guys. I'm embarrassed on how much I pay when I hear what you two guys pay.
You make me mad.
I'm thinking about loading a truck and just driving it down to you. That's how much you pay.
Right, exactly. So
there's a famous comic shop up in Jersey that was paying $75 a long when I was paying $40. They don't play 75 anymore.
No, definitely not.
I can remember we hit
40. See, the thing is, my price never goes up or down.
I was still buying at 40, and there were people buying at 20, and they were still getting hundreds of thousands of comic books.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, but that's everybody has different prices. And again, it depends on why you're selling your books.
Yeah.
Our
And
prices,
I'm not buying $40 a long for keys.
right? Exactly. No, we get that. We get
That's
that.
Yeah.
bulk. That's bulk price. Those are books that's going to take me,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, bulk 1960s, 1970s, that type of stuff, right? You're
Oh no,
yeah.
we're
No,
talking
I'm
about
joking.
90s
I know.
Valiant.
Right.
Yeah. But tell you what, I'll take all your Turok #1s and your Magnus Robot Fighter 25s and all your Bloodshot Zeros.
Yeah,
For sure.
Bloodshot Zeros. What about Ninjak 1?
Yeah,
Or
Ninjak
Ninja
1.
K,
All that
however it's-
Chromium. I
Yeah.
will tell you, I stop my show to show those books fully when I'm
They
doing
look
my
great.
live streams.
They look
I'm like,
fantastic.
yeah, I'm like, let me show you the back page, and you can actually see the picture on the backside
Yep.
indented into the thing. It's just amazing. I wish we could do that again, but that will never happen. But very, very good times. There were some books that really, really just ended up being generationally cool. And those are some of those books that are generationally cool. At the end of the day, though, I'll just end with this. We want Nick to get his money, but we also want Nick to be successful today.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah. I think he's done the last couple of launches has been really good for him. I think the last couple of Dynamite books that have dropped have been very successful.
Yes. Yes. And I think if you're, it really depends on what type of company you are, right? If you're a company who says, I got to do these Kickstarters to make up for the $600,000 I lost, or I have to do these Kickstarters to make some money. That's the difference between the two.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting. We'll keep our eyes on it over the next couple months. See where
I
it
mean,
lands.
I think it's going to go on. It's going to just keep going on, guys.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, Sparkle wants it to go on.
Yeah, it's too profitable to let it not go on.
Right. We'll just keep on fighting.
They have almost nothing left to sell.
That's what I'm saying is once the warehouse is empty, they'll be like, okay, come and pick up whatever's left. And here's what's left of your check. And
well, they're not selling any more of that. There's no more comics for sale. There's no more liquidation lists. There's no more special deal lists. It's all NECA toys. And a few other
that's their
companies.
shit. And that's their shit.
That's pretty much all they're selling now.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of mangas, but other than that,
everything that happens, they're just going to appeal. They're going to lose appeal, lose appeal, lose appeal. And that's just the way this has been allowed. And it's been allowed. I'm going to tell you, this is not how bankruptcies work.
No.
This has been allowed for some reason. Who knows what that reason is?
Hey, judges need re-election money too.
Yeah, there you go.
Transcribe that, lawyers.
Another piece of news that we've talked about pretty heavily, and I've been hearing these rumors as well, that Netflix is the front runner to buy Warner Brothers.
Well, the biggest problem I see in this is Netflix does not embrace theatrical releases. Paramount does. And I think Paramount is going to come in at the end and put the offer in. I think Paramount is going to take this because the entire Warner business model that makes them the most amount of money relies still on those theaters. And I don't know if you guys visited a theater the last 2 weekends. Wicked packed them in. Not customers for me, per se. Right. And then right after that, Zootopia 2 has had a steady stream of people since Thursday afternoon coming into the theater in my mall. It is just nonstop, parking lot packed, kids, families, everything. There is still a market left for movie theaters, and Netflix does not know how to capitalize on any of that market.
Well, I will say
there
this:
there were some Saudis in the mix.
I will say this, that Nick, speaking of Nick Barucci, he's been really smart at picking up those IPs. The Zootopia IP, he just picked up. Who's the bad girl in Little Mermaid? The bad Ursula.
Ursula.
He's doing the Ursula comic. So, like you said, that stuff is still a big money maker. People love their Disney stuff and or animation or whatever. And even our boy Red Hood went to see Wicked and said it was a good movie. So,
Boy, I don't think, was there a lot of mamas during that movie? I don't.
Mama.
They're too skinny to be a lot of mamas.
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
movie.
They need some sandwiches.
They need
sandwiches. I would hate to be the craft service guy on that movie because I bet
you're
you
not
he
making
went
any
bankrupt.
money. Yeah.
No money.
So that's pretty good stuff, man. I think it's a little scary right now for this Warner Brothers sale because either way, we're gonna lose a lot of what us as comic book fans are excited for. The James Gunn universe is there's gonna be some hits in there. There's gonna be hits in our comic book publishing. It's not a good thing for us comic book fans to see what's happening with Warner Brothers in the sale. And IP, are all going to be, taking hits on that one for sure.
Do you think that any new ownership of DC will take the Marvel route and license some of its titles out?
Yes,
I mean
100%.
Yeah. But will it
you have
ever
the whole
be
Wildstorm universe? You have all the Charlton characters. Will it be successful? I don't know. Star Wars was really successful at Dark Horse.
It was, but Disney moved that over to Marvel. Marvel hit their bar. They licensed out the side projects to IDW. IDW came
Kids
nowhere
books.
near that.
No. Well, they were doing kids' books.
Right. And that's the thing is as long, and I mean, and no offense to Nikki, but that's what Ursula is. That's what, Zootopia and those things are. Those are always going to be down here, but they're not going to let Nikki touch
Mickey
Marvel
Mouse.
project or Mickey Mouse or Uncle Scrooge necessarily. And that's where the numbers are. They'll let people do the things that marketing says they need to do and fulfill a market, but they're not going to let them touch the big IPs.
Well, yeah, I think there's some good licensing there in Wildstorm.
Yeah,
there's some really good. There's some really well loved characters that don't get any love at DC.
The Charlton characters
they don't have
are
room.
Great characters too.
Oh yeah.
I have always said
right now. I mean,
it has amazed me
and
that DC has never redone Watchmen with the Charlton characters that they're not using, and that Alan Moore originally. I would do a what if, obviously Elseworlds or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, the original. What if Charlton was? Watchmen.
Tell me, all of us dorks would not buy that.
I would be all for it. Yep. Totally.
Keep in mind, Netflix has 301 million subscribers worldwide, 82 million in the United States. So they already have their analytics on why buying Warner Brothers makes sense or merging with Warner Brothers. So they already have all that info between that 300 million subscribers, right? So
it'd be nice if they marketed comics to them.
Right, exactly.
So
they know
1% of that number. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 0.5%. Exactly. So it's all about numbers with these companies, and I think that's what they're looking at. Out of the 301 million, how many of them would be Warner Brother fans, and then watch the Warner Brothers stuff out of that 300 million? It's probably in the 45% range of 45% of 300 million. It's kind of a winner there, right?
Yeah, in a major way. So, anything else that you guys saw that you guys thought was interesting?
What was the thing on Cliff, Dennis? I'm not quite sure what that was.
So I just wanted to bring that up because I just saw it in my feed when I got a message. Cliff lost all power. If you pull that up, so Cliff Biggers, a good friend of mine, and a mentor in a lot of ways to a lot of retailers. He just posted this up. Did you get it, Brian?
No, it says unsupported attachment.
Oh, okay.
You have to follow him on Facebook to actually get it.
Sorry about that. Let me just open it up and I'll read it.
Yeah.
Today was disastrous at Dr. No's Comics. Overnight, someone, perhaps a truck that was too tall, caught the overhead power lines, pulled down all the conduits and meters of 4 businesses in our segment of shopping center, including ours. Meters were damaged, lines were down. The damage is so extensive that they can't just remount what was there. And because the new mounts, conductors, etc., are necessary, they have to get a permit from the county to do this. Permits are taking 7 to 21 days, which means we are likely without power until after Christmas. What was on track to be our best year in history is now destined to be our worst in years. I don't have any way to fix it. We will still be open during daylight hours using square and power backups. We have 3-phase power and are looking at a 3-phase generator, but we actually need 3 since our store is comprised of 3 different spaces. I'm really overwhelmed because I'm accustomed to finding out a problem and fixing it, and both Georgia Power and Cobb County seem to delight in preventing me from doing that. We do have business interruption insurance coverage, but our agent isn't sure if that will apply at all since the damage isn't in our store. And he's not sure, even if it does apply, if we will be able to, if we're open during daylight hours each day. But if we close for the month, we screw over our good customers, our pre-orders, and we lose a lot of goodwill. The loss of $100K in sales will be devastating, turning a great year into a money loser. And I've never envisioned this sort of problem in almost 5 decades of retailing.
Wow.
It's what we were talking. It's what he knows exactly everything we know, everything we talk about. Cliff knows it, and he's probably forgotten more than we'll all know. He knows that if he breaks his customers' habits for 3 to 4 weeks, he is out of fucking business.
Man,
yeah,
that's
customers are again, as I said, the customers lead the pack when it comes to buying, and they will find ways to get their books regardless of how long they've had their pull boxes. He's kind of screwed, right? Because he's not going to get insurance if he's open during the day. They're going to say, but you're able to sell stuff.
If I was Cliff, and I'll send him this message. Remember I told you guys about that store set up in the Antiques Mall a block up the road from him? I would call that Antiques Mall and go, what space do you have? I will set up all my new comics.
Just
do a pop-up up the road, whatever it costs. You can still close the store and collect your insurance, and you could take the merchandise over to there and let the people know, the customers know, hey, I'm going to be here for 3 to 4 weeks. We'll be back open at the end of this. But no retailer should be forced to do this at all.
Right.
Yeah. I'd contact all my mayors and councilmen, and somebody has to
decades
find a solution. Yeah. Somebody, you've put enough money back in the pockets of that town that somebody needs to find you a barn, a VFW, something to be a pop-up for your shop for the 3 weeks until it's fixed.
Yeah. And we're in a world socially where that can be talked about versus 20 years ago.
Well, that's a great point. Yeah. No, here's a great point. Cliff puts out the post on social media. We see it during the show. We talk about it. That is what how important social media content, social content is to the industry. It is so invaluable right now in so many different ways, and this is a perfect example of it. You
Yep.
know, people are going to be able to help his buyers, his friends, his everybody that's been part of his store over the 5 decades is now going to be able to help in some way through the social media posts that he put out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You'll have plenty of people that will say, hey, invoice me for my subscriptions.
Yep.
You know, I'll go ahead and pay for those. I'll pick those up in 4 weeks. There's a lot of ways to do it. You have to be able to look at the platforms that are available to you today and maximize those to everybody you can. And I think that's going to be very important to his success over the next 4 weeks, is to look at all the positive things that he can take out of this, and the negative things, they just are negative. It is what it is. And that's the challenge we face in business. Today, half my store, the power wasn't on, and it took the power company 3 hours to come out and fix it, flip a switch that they somehow went off. And so we didn't have power in half the store. What I do, I move the computers over to the other side, and I move the square machine over to the other side, and it is what it is. So hard pivot, he'll make it through it. He's done this for a long time. His customer base will, I shouldn't say his customer base, his community will jump in, and they will come to the dance for him for sure.
Speaking of community, you guys, we have started a new group on Facebook group for the industry of comics. Make sure you guys go check it out. I'll drop a link in the live chat. I know people have been having a hard time trying to find it. A lot of people have been asking for links, so I'll put a link in the live chat. But this is one of the posts that was put up recently. Are blind bags already dead in the water? And I'd love to know what you guys think about this, because I think that they're far from dead in the water. I don't know if you guys saw the new Marvel blind bags that are coming out, or is it DC?
You mean the Ultimate End?
No. Image has got new blind bags that are coming out that are for winter, and they are all the ratios. They're called stocking stuffers. Did you guys see this? Image
I did.
partners with Gonk Bonk for highly collectible holiday blind bag this December.
Never heard of them.
Here we go.
I don't know who
Comics
Gonk Bonk is.
and Gonk Bonk are teaming up to slip something extra merry into comic shop shelves this year with the debut of the Image Comics Holiday Blind Bag, a limited, highly collectible holly jolly surprise perfect for stocking stuffers this December. Each festive blind bag will include one rare ratio variant, guaranteed to be at least a 125, but could be a 1 in 100. From all the series that they put out in 2025. Now, if you pull a Ghost Peppers Ito ratio variant out of this and you bought it for $20, you just made $325. So, I don't know what to think about this until somebody pulls one of those Ito Ghost Peppers variants out of here. But this is very interesting because it's only ratio variants, and my thought process is ratio variants should be for brick and mortar or comic shops.
We've gone down this road a million times. We've talked about it. Guys, read the fucking room. Okay? You're taking shit that, A, you probably overproduced if you have this much of it to blind bag up. Then you're going to try to sell this. I'm guessing they're going to sell this through a third party, this Gonk Bonk, whatever, instead of letting retailers have a piece of it like Mark Spears did. Then you're going up against Mark Spears, who put way more time and effort into this.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And it looks kind of like Mark's winter blind bag, right?
Yeah, but whatever. It's a blind bag, whatever. I'm not going to get into the semantics.
The other thing is that it's truly gambling, because you don't know if you're getting the book you want.
Right.
Oh, I want to buy it because I really want the Skin Breaker. Well, I
Right,
can't buy
and-
the skin breaker blind bag. I
Go,
have to
go
buy.
back to that list.
Yeah,
Go
I have
back
to
to
buy
that
as
list.
many it takes to get to a skin breaker.
I mean,
That's
it's
30,
every
40
book.
titles, 50
Every book.
titles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And guess
and
what?
half of them are losers.
Right, that's the thing. No, I wouldn't say half.
More than half.
I'd
I'm
say
being nice.
75%. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
being way nice.
Yeah.
You know, Image throws a lot of, and here's the other thing. And you know this, we all know this because we all know Image creators. Did the creators get paid for you taking all of these extra books and shoving them in a blind bag? Are they going to see a piece of that $20 for the sale of the product that they paid Image to produce? There's so many unethical things about this. And it's just a cash grab. It's just a cash grab.
Yeah. And then so like World Tree, right? Is that going to be World Tree number 1?
No, it's for
1 in
every
25?
issue. It's going to be, so when they say go to one of those titles again.
Hold on,
when
let's see
they
what
say-
Gonk Bonk is.
Yeah. Mystery
Oh,
box.
they do
Central.
mystery boxes. Yeah, look at that.
That's
Art
it.
Adams, for the Godzilla blind bag that they did.
$150 for a Godzilla blind bag.
And I bet you none of
Fuck
those
me.
sold. What a waste.
Yeah.
Exquisite Corpses.
That'd have been a great seller at $10.
Yeah.
Godzilla, you couldn't at $10. They'd be gone the first day you had them.
Yep. And they have
$150, they'll
it's
be
the
around for
variant
the next
business
century.
model plus blind bags plus
creating margins. We're going to create margins.
Yeah, that's
David
it.
Finch
Timothy-
blind bag. Look at this. David Finch, here's your skin breaker blind bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
50
$50. You get
Two
one of 1,000 spot foil, plus you'll receive one of the following items: Anok mini print numbered to 250, Anear mini print numbered to 250, Tool mini print numbered to 250, Cover A mini print numbered to 250, an original sketch cover by David Finch. 8 exist, 1% chance of reveals. So this is a blind bag / mystery box company, from what it looks like. So there you go.
So are they going to sell? Are they going to sell these image books on their website or?
No, it's going to be on Gonkbox.
That's what I mean.
Let's see here. Hold on.
Punk.
Visit imagecomics.com. Yeah, all it says is for more information, visit imagecomics.com.
I mean, I'd at least be a little bit more supportive if it was going to Image, but this is Image.
Oh,
moving
Lunar.
their-
You can get them through Lunar. They're
Oh,
through
okay.
Lunar.
Yeah, you can get
Lunar
it through
code.
Lunar.
There
Yeah.
it is.
$20 through Lunar.
Okay, so they are. I stand corrected.
Yep.
Everybody on my birthday saw that I was wrong about something, but it still stinks to high heaven.
I'm not buying. I didn't buy any.
Right. I didn't buy any either. This is a very interesting concept for a retailer. This is something that if you don't buy, it doesn't affect your business.
Nope.
If you do buy, you then make some money, but it doesn't affect your business. So your goal is to sell books every day and be consistent and have good retention. And so, I don't have anybody coming in saying, hey, I want to order the next blind bag. They might say,
Yeah.
I want the next Mark Spears in December, but blind bags aren't a specific item. It's a gambling tool to sell more product, and that's the difference. So when a guy comes in or a lady comes in and they buy one, they go buy another one, and they go buy another one, and go buy another one. That's probably someone that's not going to be coming in your store every Saturday to buy $1 books or $5 books or $10. They want that high. Dennis said something last week that most people don't know. Things are very successful when you lose more than when you win.
Yeah.
Right? Let me say one thing, Brian. The worst thing you can have happen in Las Vegas, the very worst thing you learn, don't win when you first sit down. because you will walk out losing because you win $1 million, even though you bet 100,000 and you think you're losing 900,000, because losing makes you spend more money.
So one of the things that I want to talk about, I don't talk about this much, and the guys know on the panel, they know this. I've talked to them about this. I have talked to quite a few major industry players in this game about the blind bag game. Now, I've talked about this before. I was very lucky me and Mark, sat there for 2 hours and came up with the whole idea about the Monsters blind bags. And I'm not taking any credit for that. That's all Mark Spears. Mark Spears is a genius, an amazing artist, and a great friend. That all credit goes to him. But that was an amazing moment to me to be able to be there, say, brainstorm, let's come up with this idea for these blind bags, and it actually get put into process. And I've had a lot of people in the industry, big names in the industry, come to me and say, hey, what do you think about this blind bag idea? What do you think about this blind bag idea? And the thing that's so important about the blind bag game is you have to, as a buyer, it's one thing just to say, okay, I'm just going to buy a blind bag. I'll spend $10 on it and take one chance. But if you're really going to get behind something, you're really going to put some money into something and really take a chance, you have to really like what you're going in on, and it has to be a return value. And the thing about Mark that was so important about his blind bags is he said, I want the blind bags to be the same price as somebody would pay for one issue of Monsters. And that it was so important. And then you have to throw in the fact that you have the chance to get things that, as a fan of Monsters or a fan of Mark, that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else but these blind bags.
95 different, all new, all exclusive covers. He put time and effort into all 95 of those. Every person that opened one of those bags saw something new. Cover Price has shown you everything that you can get over the last year from these blind bags. And as I said in the chat, this is all stuff that they clearly overprinted at some point to have this much crap to shove in these fucking bags. And sure, maybe they got Todd to draw on a cover. Maybe they got somebody to sign some books, and we'll find out about that later, and blah, 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 blah. This is all a way to get rid of shit that you overproduced and nobody wanted.
And that is the death knell of the blind bags. And this is the reason why
we warned everybody.
This is the reason why I bring up the fact that a lot of people have reached out to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I'm honest with them, and I'll say, I don't think it's going to work. And here's why. And the main reason why I tell a lot of these people I don't think it's going to work is because it's just something that's the same thing that everybody else is putting out. You've got all these exclusive variant retailers out there who have a huge amount of backstock that just need to figure out a way to get rid of this backstock. What do? They create a blind bag. You've got these publishers who have a huge amount of backstock. What are you going to do? Figure out how to get rid of this backstock? You create a blind bag. No, we don't want your backstock. We want original art. We want autographs. We want buybacks of original books, whether that's Robert Kirkman's personal Invincible collection, or an original Vampirella #1 by Frazetta, from back in the day. We want that cool stuff that you cannot get anywhere else other than in that blind bag. And if you put it in that blind bag, you can't get it in another blind bag down the road. That is so important.
Preach it, Comic Jesus. Preach it.
It's just the way it is.
Let me put in one of the big reasons why Spears worked. Spears invested himself into this project. Yeah. So if Image is doing XYZ, and Dennis said it, those guys don't know what's going on, the creators. They're not invested in this. They're not on talk shows, every talk show possible, talking about the blood, sweat, and tears to do this for the fans. And so I would challenge people and say, How many people bought these Spears blind bags because it said Mark Spears on it and they wanted to support Mark Spears? I think
Okay,
that's the important
I'm going
part.
to go one step further, Jesse. Out of all those creators, let's just say it's 50 different creators, even though we know some of the same guys do multiple books at Image. 50 different creators that Image sent them a bill for the production of cover A, the production of cover B, the production of cover C, whatever. They got that taken out of their percent check when they did that thing. And now, and we all know, thanks to Mark telling us about it, they got a minus $2 for every one of those books that was printed, times however many plate changes, all that shit. They got a bill against how many they sold, and their margins are that thin. And now that $2 book that they got charged,
it's now a $20 book,
is now a $10 cost to retailers that are also trying to sell that 1 in 25 for ratio price, $25 on their wall. And now somebody can get it for $20 in their store. And that $10 goes to Image. Maybe they'll get $2. Maybe, I doubt it. But it's a pyramid scheme. It's a giant pyramid scheme that these 50 creators are going to get fucked on.
Right. And keep in mind, the wholesale game is exactly that. Image's job is to sell these at wholesale. They hold no risk after wholesale to the retailers. Hey, if you sell them, great. If the dam breaks, we don't care.
Right.
We want to get rid of products. Like
they got 50 creators lined up to get a slot at Image in 2026.
Right.
They don't give two fucks. If one of these creators says, fuck you, Eric Stevenson, you fucked me for this $2. Now you're giving it away in a blind bag. You're ruining the market of the people who bought this. Eric will be just like, yeah, we don't need your book next year. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, if you're going to buy blind bags, we're not telling you not to buy blind bags. This isn't about that. What we're telling you is that you have to look at what's being sold, and is your money being spent wisely and buying stuff that technically you can probably just go online and buy and not take that chance that it might be in the 30th bag that you bought. Right. And I think that's what
this
happens.
is a great point that I think should be talked about. You can call me V says they don't care if comic shops go out of business. They'll just sell their crap to Gonk Bonk.
Yep.
Right.
Now,
right, exactly.
This is not just stuff. This is ratio variance that should be going to retailers that bought so many copies. So that's my part. And this is why I love Mark, because listen, when we say Mark is one of us, we really truly mean that. He's not just a collector, a fan, a creator. He's also a comic shop owner. He used to own a comic shop. He ran a comic shop. When he found out that some of the ratio variants for monsters were being sold on Keenspot's website, he said, you know what? I don't like that. Those should be going to retailers. And he put a stop to it. He said, no.
Yeah,
let's
that was at San Diego.
Yeah.
We were there when he put a stop to it.
And that is such a big freaking deal to people that root for Mark. And that, again, me just saying that probably just created 5 more fans that are going to go, you know what? I'm going to go buy some blind bags because of what just was said. This guy loves comic books as a medium. He loves it as he loves everything about comics, including comic buyers. And he doesn't want you to feel ripped off if you buy a blind bag and don't get what you necessarily want out of that.
Yeah.
That's why they're $5.99 a piece.
Zabit in the chat. I believe the creators in the bag also wanted to be in on it. That's why it's not every Image title. But let me tell you a secret that helped me realize what you were talking about. It's coming up on the end of the year. Okay. That means every book that Image has in its warehouse, every book that Lunar has from Image in its warehouse has got to be inventoried up, and you have to declare that inventory on your taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah.
This allows them, and I would bet money on this. Anybody want to put the money up? I'll bet money on it. They went to all these creators and said, hey guys, by the way, we have 1,000 books sitting at Lunar.
Where do you want us to ship them?
It's going to cost $2,500 at the end of the year to store that with taxes or whatever. Or we got these bongo guys that will take these they'll take them for 10 cents on the dollar, and they're going to make a mystery box out of it. Who's in?
Right.
Write us a check for $2,500 minus $2,500 from your trade paperback sales, or have $1,000 from bongo or whatever they are.
Yeah. Beefy burgers.
What?
Beefy burgers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, all those creators that said that were just like, oh yeah, well, I don't want to give you $2,500 for the overstock. Yeah, just let bongo have this.
Right. But let's back up here and realize, Brian, did you say these were all 1 in 25s and above?
They're all
No,
1
up
in
to- yeah,
25s to 1 in 100.
So there is some legalities here, right? They're 1 in 25s, they're 1 in 50s, 1 in 100s. They can't sell those to retailers straight up until, like Dennis said, the end of the year, where they can, like Diamond used to do. What was it called?
Diamond dumps.
Dennis?
Blizzard sale.
Blizzard. Yeah, the Blizzard sale.
Oh,
So what they're
yeah.
doing, yeah. So
I
what they're
miss
doing
those,
is
baby.
yeah. I think what's happening here is they're saying, listen, we're going to do this, but before we do this, we're going to just offer this to one person. So we
Yep.
don't even have to deal with shipping
Yep.
5 books here and 10 books here.
Yep.
Because they
They'll
legally
show up
And hey,
Bongo
Bongo decided that they were brave enough to ask them, and they got the benefit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's technically what happened here. Retailers, we bitch a lot. When I say bitch a lot, we bitch every week on
lot.
every single order. There's something wrong with our order.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes they're like, kind of like, you know what, let's go with this one person, not deal with these guys and gals, because they bitch every week. Right. But there's not enough bubble wrap. The bubble wrap was putting the box upside down.
Lunar's not using bubble wrap anymore.
Oh,
You've
I
got
know. Is that crazy?
Oh, I got
cardboard inserts.
I got caps from highlighter markers in my boxes. I got highlighter markers with no caps. I got used Band-Aids stuck to comic books.
This is a very interesting
Derek-
comment from Zabit. He says, I know from one creator during the Diamond era, when he released a book that bombed, he paid to get them destroyed after a while because he was getting billed for Diamond storing them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Image would do that too. They would tell you, well, you either have to pay for the storage out of your
Where do you want it
Dennis said,
shipped at this price? Where
or
do you
trade
want it
paperback
stored?
is gonna
Where do you want it destroyed, or can we clearance it on the Blizzard sale? And
Space is
9
money.
out of 10 times, if not 99% out of 10, 100 times, the comic creator is over the barrel, and they're just like, I don't want to pay more money into this. Just get rid of it. And that's where this bankruptcy is happening.
Derek also made a good point in the chat. He said, the blind bags for the monster was $6. I didn't see one of my people that opened up the books be disappointed by what they got. $6. It's the same. It's just, hey, if you got a foil, great.
Were you going to buy Mark Spears' Monster and the Wolf anyway? Because it was going to cost you $6 no matter what. Do you get a $6 monster book by Mark Spears and a chance? Yes.
Yeah. So, and then he's saying these other bags, you don't know what you're going to get. And it starts at 20. And these guys who are opportunists, those books are those.
I mean,
blind
Emmett,
bags are
you've
not
read
gonna be
half of
$20.
these. What's the shittiest book on this list?
There's a lot of really good books on the list. Witchblade.
There is.
We're
but there are
taking
some
everyone
shitty
down
ones.
with us. World Tree.
Voice
This
Said Kill
Ends
is not
Tonight.
great.
Spawn. Curse of Shirley Johnson. Skinbreaker.
I don't like the Rogue Sun or the.
But the reason
Radiant
why I'm
Black.
saying, here's the thing though, you have to take a look at this from the secondary market sales on the ratio variance,
Yeah.
not how good the book is.
Right.
Rogue Sun ratio variants all end up on the hot lists. Okay.
Really? Okay.
Skinbreaker ratio variants, hot lists.
Well,
Lucky Devils.
Skinbreaker is phenomenal. If
But
you're not reading
but that
fucking
doesn't matter.
Skinbreaker,
But that doesn't matter in here. You could go buy a regular Skinbreaker for $5. This is
Yeah.
getting
Well, but
the 1 in 25. So Lucky
right,
Devils,
exactly. But if you
great
get
1 in
Lucky
20. Great.
Devils,
Okay,
but hold on. Let me say this: you're not getting Lucky Devils number 1. You're getting
doesn't-
issue number 4.
But it doesn't matter. You have a chance
yes,
at
it does,
getting.
Brian.
Oh, it matters.
Why do all of those-
Stop. Hold on. You guys don't follow the hot books like I follow them, okay?
Because
And-
we sell to customers that walk into our store.
I get
So we
that.
have
I
to
don't
look
care.
at this
I don't care
differently.
what you sell. You don't follow the hot secondary market books like I follow
Brian,
them.
can I pause you for a second?
No, you can't. Let me finish this. You don't
Okay.
follow the secondary market sales like I follow them. I see titles on here and I know that they're ratio variants. Every single Rogue Sun ratio variant has been on the hot list. I don't care if you 1 or 9. King Spawn ratio variants, great variants. Lucky Devil ratio variants, great variants. Invincible Battle Beast, great variants. We keep going. I mean, a Ghost Pepper Edo variant, I think for issue number 3 is like a $350 book. It doesn't matter what number it is. The ratio variant is the big sell here. All of
but Brian, I watched
Death
your
of
show.
Copra, all the ratio variants on there, all those Michael Fifey ratio variants, it doesn't matter if they're issue 1 or 9, are $50 plus books.
And what's the first thing that Ben Stein says after Brian is like, oh man, that went for a grip? Ben Stein says, I guess retailers didn't order enough of those to get the ratios.
Yeah.
Ben Stein almost every time. And do you know why, Brian? Cause and effect, motherfucker. Cause and effect. The fucking retailers don't buy 25 of those books because the retailers can't sell 25 of those books. And that means there's 20 or 50 retailers out there that bought 25 of them and they put all 25 on eBay and the price shoots up and then it hits your top 10 list. But when fucking the other 100 1 in 25s hit a fucking blind bag, that's supply and demand goes down when supply goes up.
We will see. We'll see.
Right. But at the end of the day, and this is just from the retailer's perspective, Brian, I understand what you're talking about, secondary market. But as a retailer, Emmett, Dennis, let me ask you something. How many times have you said to a customer, hey, this has been in the top 10?
never.
How many times has a customer
one-
told you that it's been in the top 10 though as they're buying it?
I'll flip that. I'll flip that.
Of course,
They
they're not
never-
going to
first of
tell
all,
you
the
because they
customer-
think you're going to
customer
raise
never
the
tells
price
me.
on them.
Price on
But
them.
I would say 1 in 20 of my pitches, if it was just on Comic Tom's list last night, I let the customer know when they're asking to see it. I go, yeah, you know what? We've got that. And in fact, Comic Tom just had it on his top 10 list last night. Or it was just on the House
Right.
of Stein.
But
The
I don't
one
think
thing
we
that I
have to
know,
sell it.
the one thing that I know based on experience over the last 10 years of doing doing content based on flippers and secondary market value hot books, the one thing that I know for sure is the vast majority of comic retailers out there have no idea what hot books are.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
So,
we agree
for
with that.
We agree with you on the secondary market. We're just talking about from a retailer's perspective.
But I'm going to give you 2 more cause and effects based off of this conversation. Emmett, Jesse, how many Image books are you going to buy 25 or 50 or 100 of in 2026 because Image just dumped the market for most of those variants? And they'll probably do it again with Bongo Bongo at the end of 2026.
Well,
Right.
if it's a successful, they will.
Right.
So they
And
have
then
to
on-
print,
and
they
on
have
top
to
of
print
that-
those extras though, because I buy 10. There's 4 dealers that buy 12 books each,
Right.
and then it ends up being 50 books. So they have to make 225s and 150, even though nobody's getting it in their store.
I absolutely
that, right?
understand
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But if
Exactly.
if 10 of them or 50 of them in the market hits the House of Stein list, and then the other 50 or 200 hit the blind bag, and those all get bought by flippers and speculators, and they've got they got $10 into it, and they got to flip those. That price will go down, and I guarantee you in 2026, you're probably not going to see half of those hit that list in 2026.
Right. And that's why the secondary market doesn't want the retailers to be even involved in it, right? Because we just do our thing.
Right.
Secondary market controls its own self and polices its own self. That's why they have the top 10s and top 25s and the top 50s, right? If we take the top 10 in our store, it would never equal any top 10 show ever. Right. I mean, yeah, maybe Monsters would be.
Depends on what the top 10. You have to ask what the top 10 is. What is it? The top 10 hottest books on the secondary market. Top 10 hottest keys. Top 10. Like you have to.
If we had
tell
real
us
sales
what
data,
those criterias are, because
but if we had the real sales data that we talked about many times on the show, if from all the comic shops, what we actually sell every week, the top 10 lists would be very different.
Yes.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
But they can only get data from online, and then that's what's being marketed, right? It's not like we've discovered the best book. It's
and Emmett, just like you said, for every Emmett that orders 12 and every Jesse that orders 13, a 1 in 25 is produced,
created,
and neither of you get one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the guy who orders 25, he gets one and puts it on eBay. And then the 25 customers that you two guys have, 2 of those customers bid that up because they didn't get it from you. Then it goes over to Brian's Hot 10 list because it beats ratio and it has sales volume.
Well, here's the funny thing. Go ahead, Dennis. Sorry, I apologize.
No. And that's all I'm saying is this is a short-term gain that will crush the markets for these type of products.
Yeah.
Right. And
Official Music Pub says, for retailers, what do you use to price books that aren't brand new? Do you use sales of eBay, cover price, etc.? What would you price Absolute Batman and what today? We actually had a whole show on this last 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
ago. Everybody on this list talked about I think for the vast majority, they use Key Collector to price their books.
Well, not just
not to price them, to give a
starting
a ballpark.
Yeah, ballpark. Yeah.
But then, like I said, there was a book that I just bought in a collection today. I've never seen the book. I looked it up. It doesn't go for shit. But if I don't know the book, if I've never seen it, I'm not throwing it in a dollar box.
Nope.
Amen.
It's going up. Yep. Yeah, I think you have to look at your customer trend in your store. As a live streamer, I know that if I put Lady Lulu Goes to Hollywood from 1975, I'm probably going to get a lot of money for that book. Why? Because no one knows what I just put up. I don't even know what I just put up. So the little information,
so rare it's worthless.
Yeah, exactly. So rare books, rare titles will always sell for a lot of money.
I disagree with that.
Oh, 100%. I will.
It depends on the people.
I will show you hundreds of sales.
So just the other night,
my whole point is, Brian, let me finish this. Because only one sold, no one's going to pick that up. Cover price ain't going to come up and say, well, look at Lil, whatever I just said, went to the ball, sold for $50 because only one copy sold.
You're wrong about that. That's what Cover Price Shakers is about. It's about those weird one-off, two-off sales that happen on books that you don't see very often. That's what the Cover Price Shaker list is. That's also what the Almost 10 list is on the House of Stein. But here's the thing, Jesse, I think that is just based on your buying audience, because I disagree with that. I think that multiple times you can go on Whatnot right now and see a person that has 5 people in their show. If they put up a book, what was the book I put up yesterday? I put up one of those old school catalog, toy catalog comics.
Superheroes
catalog comics. Yeah. Super rare. You don't see them very often. Joe Kubert covers early interior work by Veach and Bissett. Like super rare stuff. Very, very cool. you know, that's easily a $50-$60 book, in my opinion. It goes for nothing because nobody knows what it is. It depends on your buying audience and what
And
you
also
have
your
cultivated.
storytelling.
No,
Yes.
Like
it
you said, you
depends
tell the
on.
story of the book
Yeah,
and who's
Yes.
inside and early
yeah.
bird.
You put up that book and you don't show the crossword in it, the crossword or the stickers or whatever it is, or the color it in, or ordering something. You need to be able to sell stuff, not show stuff. Showing stuff does not do anything live streaming. So at the end of the day, my audience buys because of excitement. They buy because of experience. They're learning stuff. They want that book. So you should not be, if you're a show that has to have ASM 300s and Newman's 98s to be successful, you need to rethink how to sell books.
No, I
Every
think
book has
the
value.
point is that just because a book is rare or you've never seen it doesn't mean you're going to be able to sell it for a lot of money. That's
Well,
my
what's a lot
point.
of money? Are you get? I consider a book that's a dollar book that I pull out of the dollar bin and I get $5. That's a pretty good bump there.
Well,
I
just
think you
because
might be thinking
I'll change my statement. Just because
Yeah.
a book is rare in your opinion doesn't mean you'll be able to sell it.
I don't know.
Sure. I mean, not every time, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
trust me, I burned through a lot of books that I thought were no brainers for people to buy, and nobody gave a shit at $10.
It always depends on the audience that you have either watching that sale, live sale, static sale, whatever. It all depends on the
Yep.
audience that is watching that sale.
Well,
Yep.
it's the audience that you cultivated as well. As
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know,
And
as
that's what I
you
mean.
know,
You've cultivated an audience
Right.
that when you say, "Hey, I've never seen this book," it means, "Hey, that's a book that could be rare because Jesse, who's been in this world for 40 years, has never seen this book." You've cultivated that audience that knows that. If anybody goes on there and says, if you know Joe Blow from Saskatoon or whatever that city is that they used to always say, shows a book on there and says, I've never seen this book, it doesn't mean shit. It's the audience that you've cultivated as
Right.
Jesse James Comics.
Right, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, so we need to understand that just showing a book doesn't get you to the dance. It's how you cultivate your audience, how you bring that audience together, how you give them a great experience, and then wanting them to actually spend money with you, I think is very important. We know at the end of the day, after every show, we're invoicing 10 to 15 people, no matter how many people watch the show. Yeah, you get that anomaly where one person buys one book that you've never seen before, but most of the time it's your retention customers that buy. And that's just how it works. So I think the whole point about this is, what I brought up was, a store's top 10 will always be different than what the top 10s that you use, Brian.
Yeah.
In every category, straight across the board.
Well, and it's funny you say that too, because Jesse, every retailer has that. What's the book in Conspiracy Theorist? Paradise Lost. Every time a NFL Super Pro comes through Jesse's store, it gets plucked out. Every time Lauren Becker gets a super skater, it gets plucked out. Every time, Steel Town Rockers is kind of mine. It's like, it's such a stupid book. We all have a book that, and then when somebody says, I want something interesting, check out this book.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that is the only store that book will ever sell in.
Yeah. Look at Turok #1s for me.
Yeah.
I've never sold a Turok #1 at auction. Now, I'm not talking about buying now, for less than $20 at auction. Why? Because I just get excited about it, and people get excited about it. And they didn't get one last time, so they bid it up, and it goes for $20 a pop.
Yep.
And it is what it is. So again, we started this show out saying there's no such thing as a bad book. and well, not started off the show, but halfway through. And I think that's where live streaming is right now. As far as the blind bags go, that will go until people, you talk about fatigue. I don't even think it's fatigue. I think they're going to run out of money for that chase. Unless it's a Spears book and they're investing again in Spears and his book.
And the best way to battle this is to put your money where you support. I support Mark Spears. I have the Krampus books coming. Right. I wouldn't put a single $10 bill into buying one of these image cash grabs. And that's what the industry has to basically send the message. Don't care.
Well, if you want one of them, there's going to be plenty of them on eBay where people get ones they don't want.
Yep.
Yeah. They're just going to be wanting to get their $20 back.
Yep.
Well, look at what
oh, they'll be down to $12 when nobody buys them.
Look at what happened with the Spears books, right? It was great for retailers. It was great for the secondary market until people started jumping online and selling their extra copies.
Yep.
And said, I just want my $6.
Well, and that was an issue with collation more than I think it was the books. If you bought 20 books and you got 5 different covers of all the same one, that's a collation issue, which then causes the average Mark Spears fan to dump 4 of them because they want to buy 4 more covers,
right?
That they don't have. And if out of 195, if you bought 100 books and you pulled 95 different books, you were never going to sell but those extra 5.
Right. But, and the cool thing Timothy just brought up is Kickstarters is blind bags, kind of the alternative to Kickstarters for that person who buys and says, well, I kind of see what I'm getting, and I'd rather spend my money on something I don't know what I'm getting. And I'll still spend that $20 or that $50.
I was talking about non-sport cards, and Brian, I know you know this, and Jesse, I'm sure you did. Emmett, you were too cool to buy boxes of non-sport cards. But the reason you built up enough swag as a kid to buy the box was because there was an implied intent that if you bought the box of 24 packs, you were going to walk away with a full set.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. The collation was such at Tops that if you bought 24 packs from the same box, you were going to get a full set. And at the point at which like Fleer Ultra 94 and you start ripping those boxes and you come up with 100 of the same card and nowhere near a full set, you walk the fuck away and you never came back. And that's what this collation issue is. If you bought 1 pack, you're going to get 5 cards. If you bought 24 packs, you're going to have a full set of 100. If you buy 24 packs and don't come anywhere near a set, you're done. And that's what the collation issue does. What's the fucking big rig company? Those ass hats? Vault. Dude, how many retailers would buy Big Rig 2 box after getting 5 of the same boxes? Only an idiot, or Bigger Rig the sequel with somebody else. They're not going to trust you a second time. You fucked them the first time.
Right,
you
exactly.
Fucked the customer.
Look at how many people buy Johnny Homicidal Maniac. What is it on 76 print?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And you're still trying to get the same cover, but now it's the 5th print and then the 8th print. Oh, I have the 12th print, but it's the same cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we live in a world.
At least Killing Joke did a different color for every printing.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. So we live in a world where the consumer rules. They get to choose where they buy from, what they buy, how much they spend, how often they spend. And that's most likely going to be the experience they get, not exactly the book that you sell them. Right. And when we talk about key collector fatigue, that could be that, listen, I'm just going to the store and they have the same product all the time.
Yeah.
and maybe they just can't spend their money. And let me go online. Let me do this. And then you got the guy, I'll never buy something online. I was talking to a lady today. She's bought so many books. And then today she got 3 Silver Age books, and in the interior was all water damage. And she's like, that's it. I'm not buying any more books. I'm taking a break for 6 months as far as online goes. I'm back to buying in the store.
Pavlov's dog. Once you break a habit, it is harder than hell to get that back. And that's what a 50-year veteran is going through in his mind tonight.
Yep.
That he is going to break 3 to 4 weeks of his customers that he has spent 50 years building, and he's going to break their habit. And at Christmas time,
probably up to the third generation.
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
on the third generation.
Exactly. Hey, Brian, can you put up that Logan Paul thing I put? Because I want to ask you guys this question real fast. It's in Facebook. And I don't know when this happened, if this happened recently.
Multiple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Where he got the card.
Yeah.
It's an Illustrator rare from Japan.
Okay. So how do they get to this price? I know people bid on it, but at the end, was it just a couple people, or how did this actually?
Says here, YouTuber Logan Paul has recently acquired a coveted PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator card, record-breaking trade. So he traded stuff for it. The card was purchased by Paul from Marwan Dubsy in Dubai in 2021, breaking the record for most expensive Pokemon trading cards sold at private sale. To obtain the PSA 10 grade, Paul exchanged a PSA 9 Illustrator worth $1.2 million that he had purchased from a renowned sports card collector, Matt Allen. This grade 9 card plus $4 million equaled the cost of a pristine 10 Pikachu. Only 39 were given out.
Auction.
So this was a staff only card from Japan. They rarely saw the light of day. Most of the staff probably have it sitting in a desk drawer that they boxed up, long ago. Yeah. This is one that was curated, and it's traded hands privately before it was $1 million card. It's what it is, and its perceived value is enhanced by the fact that Logan Paul wore this when he walked into the ring with Tyson, with WrestleMania. This is Todd McFarlane's $2 million baseball.
Yep.
So it has a legend of its own. Okay. There's probably 20. What did they say? 25 of these in the world. 39. There's 38 others of these. Whether they're 10s or not is a whole nother question, but this is the one.
Yep. All right. I was just interested. Came across my feed. It's amazing what comes across your feed sometimes. And and what's crazy is this is 2 years old, like Brian said.
Yep.
But in my algorithms, it was brand new.
Yep. It's actually isn't even longer than 2 years ago.
Well, and when you start looking at $9 million Superman #1s, it's not even an Action Comics. It's a Superman one.
Yeah, you had to win a contest to get that card.
Yeah.
I also don't know why the Superman comic everybody keeps saying $9 million. The Hammer fell at 7.6.
Yeah, but the person still paid $9 million for it, though.
No, I get that, but that's built in.
But still, you paid $9 million for it.
Yeah, when you buy a car for $30,000 and there's an extra $5,000 in fees, do you tell your friends it cost you $30,000, or do you tell your friends it cost you $35,000?
No, I get it, but
what don't you get?
And if you drive it off the lot and the insurance company says, well, and you get hit by a truck and they say it's totaled, and they say, well, you only paid $30,000 for it.
I paid
$5,000 in fees.
I sold my Ovechkin for $43, but I didn't get $43 for it, but it sold for $43,
Yeah.
The government said it was $1 million hit, but they must have kept that money.
Look at cover price. Cover price post eBay sold prices, not the eBay sold prices minus what eBay takes out.
The fees.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the tax that eBay puts on it now.
Yep. So, that's another thing that's very interesting about you guys who are retailers. Flippers and people who are just like online sellers and stuff that do this. Like, I never looked into like, okay, on each book, I got an extra, 50 cents for bag, new board. Then I got to add an extra 20% on what eBay is going to take out. Like, you don't do that. You just put it up. Oh, what was the last sold one that sold for 360? I'm going to put mine up for 360. Nope, you're not getting 360 for it. You're getting, two.
Well, and that's why I validate when they're, when I tell people, I'm not bragging that I'm like, oh, every book on my wall is in some store's dollar box somewhere. The point is I don't treat it like a dollar box. I don't leave it in the back of my store. I put a brand new bag and board, which if you've paid for those lately, it's about 25 cents to have the employee do that. Scotch tape has gone up. That I take down every flap. I put a 3-cent sticker on it to brand my company. And so the labor and the bags and boards, and then I give it real estate front facing on my wall. And that real estate is worth a lot more than the profit margin that I've baked into it.
Right.
I'm also seeing, what's also
Go
very
ahead.
interesting is I'm also seeing a lot of content creators getting, I know Mighty Comics just put up, he recently had a comics retailer buy promotion through him. So one of his shows is now promoted. I see Bueller gets paid by promotion by 616. Like, there's promotion that goes into paying for stuff too that we don't think about, which is very interesting. Like, do you guys pay anything in promotion that you also add to the cost of each book?
Right.
Yeah, I do radio advertising, but if you're selling enough, it's so minimal per book.
Well, and it's what Jesse and I have talked about on this. I think, Emmett, you actually have the contrary opinion. I don't give a shit that Square charges me 3% per transaction. I
It's
don't.
cost of doing business.
It's the cost of doing business. But I've heard so many retailers go, oh, man, you got to switch to this thing. It's 1.9%. I'm like, oh, do they give me a Square terminal? Do they keep my records for 3 years on Square? Okay, well, that's what I'm paying the extra 1.1% for.
Right. And I don't, a lot of stores in New York.
Oh,
charge the customer the 3%.
3%. I will never do
that.
Why not? Why not? Because isn't that 3% you're paying it out of your thing? Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. It's cost
that's
of doing
baked into
business.
that's
Yeah,
baked
but
into
you
the
could
cost.
say but you could say the cost of doing business is on
cash.
everything.
Take cash.
I've had
You don't
more,
pay 3% on cash, so only take cash.
remember Caddyshack, Brian. Lou's been losing at the track, so Coca-Cola is now 50 cents. Well, I ain't paying no 50 cents for no Coke. Well, then you ain't getting no Coke.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, but you can't do that because the customers eventually say, I ain't buying 3% for your comic books.
Yeah, but then you still keep losing money, and like
so
it's negligible.
So do you make that money up other places?
Yes.
Well,
so then no matter what, your customers is paying that 3% because you're charging them in other places.
But it's perceived value.
Right.
Brian,
0% perceived value in a 3% charge.
If
because
you
the company charges me.
If you walked into Jesse James and Jesse was selling $5 comic books for $5.30, or you walk into Dollar Tree and Dollar Tree goes from $1 to $1.25, you know you're paying that extra 25 cents. You know you're paying that extra 3% or 15 cents, 3.15 from or 5.15 from Jesse.
Yep. Right.
You know you're paying that extra 15 cents. But if the bags and boards that cost you $15 per 100 go from $30 to $35 to help make up for the 3% and to keep the comic books at $5, you don't notice it. You don't recognize that the guy is passing that price on to you. Yep. And And you still have to be competitive because there's 5 other stores within driving distance.
But my point of
boards.
asking why you just chalk it up as, oh, that's the cost of doing business, instead of saying, I understand it's the cost of doing business, but I still want to keep track of that.
I keep track of it.
Okay.
Where's my phone?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you can go online and keep track of that, but the notion is, how much would it cost you to create your own credit card company?
Right.
Right, exactly. And so the cost is not just the cost of doing business, it's the cost of you not having to spend that much money to do it. So it's not a 10%, 12% cost. It's I pay 1.75 with Square. And so am I going to
went
care
to an
about 1.75? No.
I went to an all-you-can-eat restaurant, and not only did they charge me 3% for using credit card, they charged me a 12% tip automatically.
Yep.
And it was the worst service I'd ever received in my life. I will never walk through that door again.
Yep.
So I'm just sharing this number with you guys just for general basics. So I did X in sales in the 3 months that I've been open in Toledo. So X. My discounts and comps, this is me giving $5 coupons to get people to spend $10. That $5 coupon has cost me 500 transactions at 300 transactions at $5 a piece.
15.
And this is where it's almost symmetry. My fees on my Square terminal are almost the same amount.
Yep. You know what? Talking about sponsorship, I would like to talk about one of my new sponsors, which is Brian. Can you put me on the big screen real fast?
Oh my God!
Is it Square?
Nope. My new sponsor is Paramount Pictures, which is Naked Gun. You're getting a free Naked Gun DVD with all the extra parts in it with every purchase at the store, plus posters that they have also sent us for our customers. So we want to thank Paramount Pictures for again coming to Just James Comics and being
How many
a sponsor.
people get those DVDs? How many DVDs do you have to give
100.
away? 100.
100.
There you go.
Yep. 100.
First 100 customers.
Yeah, first 100 customers, and then
that's
they
a
send
pretty
us
great
about
giveaway.
100 posters. Yeah, this is. I think it's about our 75th Paramount Pictures event that we have done for them. We're very excited. They've been great partners with us for about 5 years. So there's ways to do business and conduct business and partner with people if you know how to socially get it done, right? You got to be out there. You got to be talking about not just your business, but other people's businesses and what's going on. You know, we talked about Clip and promoting community, and that's what people want to do when they're sponsoring. There might be some sponsors out there, and I'm not going to mention them, that are just looking for greedy money by doing it. And I get that also. So at the end of the day, it's just fun, cool stuff. And, you know, I'm very excited about. I did want to talk about someone had mentioned Comic Stand, which is my local YouTuber. They're in my area. They're like 15 miles from me. They do a lot of cool stuff as well, promoting the community, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, comic books. They go to OAX and all that cool stuff. So you don't have to be a retailer to be part of your community. Look at what Brian has done, right? Brian has become part of this community. Most people would assume, if Brian didn't say something, that he owned a comic book store. Yep. So very, very cool.
Yep. All right. You guys got anything else for tonight? Anything else you want to talk about?
Let me see. I think that's all I sent you guys. Other than I can't wait to January 5th to get freaking Christmas season over with. Grandmas, you're killing me. I can only have just so much Pokemon stuff for your nephews and your grandkids.
Yeah.
And I know they're 3 years old, but they don't need 1,000 common cards. But I will sell you more tomorrow. I will have more out tomorrow. I will tell you, folks, again, I have no idea how Pokemon has transcended itself into comic book stores as necessary space.
Yeah.
It's easy. Hippie record store. As we talk about comic sales going down, or this one's not selling as good, and as the cash grab from the publisher starts happening and we're pivoting to other directions, This is the bongs. This is the incense.
Yeah.
That we need to survive to get to the next hump when comic books come back again. I don't pretend to, well, I do pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. No offense, guys. 3 years ago, when everybody was dumping Pokemon for $2 a pack, I was like Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, and I was just buy. I was putting in boxes, putting it away. Retailers were saying, dude, you can't get more than $4 a pack for that crap. I'm getting $8 a piece by just dusting off the box and bringing it out because nobody has Pokemon.
Right.
Nobody. And I've at least got Silver Tempest and Temporal Rift and Twilight Masquerade at $8 to $10 a pack, and they just want to have some Pokemon to put in the stocking and to have Pokemon to have under the tree, and they are willing to pay $8 because Walmart's at $7.50. Staples is, I'm sorry, Walmart's at $7. Staples is at $7.50. And if you're at $8 and you're the mom and pop, they are more happy to give you $8 to have something than to wait in line at Staples to hope they might get some.
Right. Exactly.
For 50 cents more.
So it's great to be able to provide a service that normally we don't focus on. The store in Arizona a little bit different because that's a focused Pokemon store. But for a new store, a boutique store who has something of everything, it's pretty cool to have something for grandma to come in. You know, grandma packs, me and Brian were talking about, I think we all were talking about grandma packs, on how grandma packs have been huge for decades, right? Grandma comes in, my kid's interested in One Piece, knows nothing about it, and yet that's your grandma pack, and you're able to sell grandma a whole bunch of cool stuff.
I bought out a store that ran One Piece. I bought a 4-row monster box of tournament packs and starters and all sorts of stuff that store was supposed to give out to build it, but they went out of business. I got to buy it all. And I have sold so many of those Luffy starter promo decks because the kids are all saying, I want One Piece. The moms and the grandmas don't even know what a One Piece is. But if you have a full deck of One Piece cards and those kids wanted One Piece cards, it's better than going to 10 different places and not getting any One Piece.
Right, exactly. You know, just final question on my part. What do you think about Toys R Us coming back? Just your thoughts.
I know what the scam is, and it's not a Toys R Us. It's not. Remember 30 years ago when there actually was a Hillshire Farms store that you could go and get your sausage and get your cheese, and you could get 10 different kinds of cheese spread. And then all of a sudden they closed all of them. But then every year the mall had a little pop-up
kiosk. Yep.
And it had 5 different kinds of cheese, but you could not get port wine cheese spread at that Hillshire Farms. You could only get the 5 different things that they wanted to sell you. That's what these Toys R Us pop-ups are.
Really interesting.
It really is. It's what the jobbers have asked them to sell. So Mattel says, okay, we've got an excess of this Barbie, and we overproduce this Barbie, and we've got a warehouse full of this Hot Wheels track and this thing. We'll give them to you for this price if you promote Mattel at these Toys R Us pop-ups.
So,
and that Hasbro does the same thing.
The only ones I've seen is the ones that are in Macy's up here in New York. There's like a Toys R Us in their basement, in the Macy's basement. And it is merchandised horribly. It is kept terribly. It looks like shit every time I go.
Yep.
Everything's moved around and not like it's like
Marcus
if you
says
love
it best.
Toys R Us.
It's like Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, or worse. Oh, worse.
Yeah, but it's not a Toys R Us. It's cashing in on your memory of what Toys R Us was.
What I was asking, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I want to give a big shout out to another great member of the comic industry community, and a great friend of everybody here on the show, Chris Roop, who recently had his Black Friday sale where I saw Dennis went to his toy sale. You got to tell us how that show went, man.
Okay, so I actually posted pictures. Can you show the pictures from Saturday, November 29th?
This one?
Right there, third picture. Yep. So this is Chris. That's Lauren Becker. Adam in the chat will love to see that I had Lauren.
I love this picture.
So, yeah. Geeks with attitude, I think is what Lauren called that. I didn't know what to expect. I've never been to one of Chris's sales. Now that I have the Toledo store, I'm halfway there. So it was an extra 20 minutes to pop over and see Chris. I get there at like 8:45. There is a line of 100 freaking people ahead of me. Yeah, look at this. This is all the... And he had $10 figures, $5 toys, statues. Actually, you know what? I can send you these, Brian, and I'll tell you exactly. So, I just basically dump off boxes full of stuff and just give it to my employees to price out. And so I could go through it. He had giant Gaylords full of plushies that were $5 each, anime plushies, etc. So this is just a sample of like a handful of things that I had my employees.
Where'd you send it, Dennis?
Sending it to the Industry of Comics.
Facebook?
Facebook, yeah.
Okay. 50 to 65 on this. Is that what you bought it for? Or?
No. That was $10 or $10 or $20 at the sale.
Nice.
My guys price it up on eBay. I said, you know what? Go with the low price. Let's get rid of it. Can you see the other ones? Did they come through yet?
Yeah.
I heard.
There we go. Just House of 1,000 Corpses figures. These were $10 each.
Right.
Nice.
Sure.
They're all $30 to $40 a piece.
Yep.
Alice Cooper Migos, $10, 25 to 30. The Batman McFarlanes, $30 for the Alfred. Eddie was, I believe, $10 or maybe it was $5.
Rainbow Bright.
All of that stuff was $10 each.
Wow.
And they all tagged up at $20 to $30 and $40. So it's just you buy from a source and then you flip it in another place.
Yep.
I spent like $1,000. All of these anime statues were $10 a piece.
Unreal, man. Great job, Roop, and the people who went.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he had that statue, that Harley Quinn statue was a $10 statue. It's still $50. It's Jim Lee sculpting Harley Quinn. It's there. I am. Did you see me?
Yeah. This is,
I
he's
had
got
my
a
coffee
sale.
in one hand. And
He's got a sale coming up on the 6th, 34th anniversary celebration. 34% off. Yep. So new comics, back issues, graphic novels, toys, CGCs, all of it. That's amazing, man. So if you guys are in the Fremont, Ohio area, this is a sale you don't want to miss. And I will say this, and everybody here on the panel will agree.
Oh.
Chris Roop has one of the best warehouse inventories in the world.
And I'll say this, 2 different watchers of the show came up and did pictures with me because they love the show. In fact, both of them said they just watched that episode before coming to that sale. So,
That's awesome.
So we have fans in the Fremont, Ohio area going to Chris's sales.
That's awesome.
Brian, can you put me on the big screen real fast?
Yeah.
So Raider Nation, you're asking about socks. So tomorrow on eBay Live, or not eBay Live, Just James Comics on eBay, you're going to get the new Coco Crisp sock. A new Rick and Morty just dropped. A Bazooka Joe and Sprite. Those are the new drops tomorrow. We're also starting on Facebook Live again starting next week, so you'll be able to get those socks there. So there's your answer to the sock issue. We want your feet warm with great looking socks. We want you styling and profiling.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else got anything before we call it a night? 3 hours we're about to hit. So
Yeah.
excellent show tonight, you guys.
It is no longer my birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
12:05.
Yeah.
We're just
Well,
waiting. I can't wait for the first show where Brian, this is probably I'm going to guess it's show 130, 140, where Brian has the full gray hitting. Yeah. It's like what was that one? One of these things don't belong here. That song that you used to hear. One of these things don't belong here. So very, very cool.
Yeah. My brother's almost all gray on his beard. And
Oh,
I'm
wow.
jealous of him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's younger too.
Yeah, I
So,
was going to say he is younger than you. So very,
Yeah.
very cool. No, fun show, folks. And don't forget, we're here just talking our mind, having fun as retailers every day. Run your business the way you want to run your business and how you feel is smart for your customer base. And hopefully you take something away from this in a good way. And maybe there's something you say, I would never do that, whatever. So,
well, thank you guys for joining us for episode 91 of the Industry of Comics show. Before we call it a night, one last big birthday extravaganza video playing for Dennis.
1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah.